All righty. We are going to go ahead and call to order the Land Use and Zoning Committee. Today is August 19th at 5 o'clock, and we're going to start with introductions to the left.
Mike Gay, District 2, just visiting.
Reggie Gaffney, Jr., District 8.
Good evening, Rory Diamond, District 13, The Beaches.
Joe Carlucci, District 5.
Randy White, District 12.
Dylan Reingold, the Office of General Counsel.
Susan Kelly, Planning Department.
Aaron Abney, Planning Department.
Casey Cox, Planning Department.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Reingold, if you will, go ahead and set the stage for us. We're gonna, for the audience members out there, this is just a little statement that we read before every LUZ meeting, because LUZ is run a little bit differently than all of our other committees. So, Mr. Reingold, please take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Just want to cover a couple of ground rules for the LUZ committee tonight. First, please no clapping or cheering on any of the matters before us tonight. Second, during the public hearing portion of an agenda item, you will only have 3 minutes, so presentations must be focused and concise and should only address the item before us. If a speaker is repetitive or gets off topic, that speaker may be given a warning. If after a warning, a speaker is still repetitive or does not stay on topic, we may cut the speaker off. Finally, all quasi-judicial decisions made before us tonight must be based on substantial competent evidence, which means that the decision must be supported by fact-based testimony or expert testimony and not generalized concerns and opinions. And with that, I will turn it over to the chair.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Reingold, and welcome, Councilmember Johnson. So with that, we are going to be going slightly out of order tonight. We already covered the agenda in the agenda meeting at 4:30, so just follow along, and we will call out the page numbers and the bill numbers, so just keep in mind that we might be skipping around. So item number 1, 2025-172, open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue this public hearing until 9/3/25. Item number 2, 2025-173, open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue this public hearing until 9/3/2025. Item number 3, 2025-176 is deferred. First action item is going to be 2025-215. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Councilmember Gaffney Jr., you're recognized. Never mind? Okay, Councilman Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise to declare ex parte for 2025-215. I have not counted all of the emails. I was out last week on city travel, but I have gotten so far about 12 emails that I can count. I'm still digging through emails on this. Once I get that final number, I will make sure that they are filed with legislative services, but I'm still kind of compiling all of them. And I think there were a few phone messages, but I'm still checking all of that right now. Thank you.
Okay, got it. Councilman Gaffney, you're recognized.
Yeah, I apologize about that. I rise to declare ex parte as well. I received numerous emails opposing this legislation. I'll make sure everything gets filed with legislative services.
All right, thank you, Councilmember White. You're recognized.
Yes, sir. All my emails has been read, declared, and sent to legislative services. Thank you.
All right, Councilman Diamond, you're recognized.
Same thing, declaring ex parte, multiple emails, and we'll file with legislative services. Thank you.
All righty, and I will like to declare ex parte as well. I've received the same multiple emails and phone calls, and this paperwork will get filed with legislative services, and Mr. George Foote back there will help me get that form filled out. All righty, so item number 4, we have already taken up all the ex parte, so we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing and get staff report.
Thank you. This is conventional rezoning ordinance 2025-0215, which is seeking to rezone approximately 42 acres of land from residential rural acre and RLD 100B to RMD-A in order to permit the development of either townhomes or single-family dwellings. Townhomes will be per Part 4 standards, and single-family homes would be a minimum lot size of 40 feet in width and 4,000 square feet. The existing land use category is low-density residential, which would permit a maximum of 7 units per acre. The subject property is located along Sterrett Road, which is classified as a collector roadway and is currently operating at 44% capacity. Staff has reviewed this application and finds that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. It furthers the goals and objectives of the comp plan by providing a greater variety of housing options to meet the projected growth of the city. The surrounding area and uses are primarily residential with a mixture of single-family subdivisions and also townhome subdivisions. The proposed rezoning to RMDA, which would allow for both townhomes or single-family, is consistent with the surrounding area. So because of these reasons and those in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval. The application was heard by Planning Commission on August 7th. There were no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and the Planning Commission voted unanimously for approval.
All right, thank you for that. So now we will go into the speaker cards. And first up, we have Mr. Tony Ricardo, and school board member, I might add. You are welcome to come down to the podium. State your name and address.
Thank you. Tony Ricardo, my address is on file. It's a puzzler to me that everybody can think that there's a characteristic of having townhomes in this area. There are no townhomes within probably a mile and a half of this area. If you want to say it in the larger sense, yes, it'd be in the area. Also, those two intersections right there, those are collector roads, and they're very narrow two-lane roads, no protected turns there. And the traffic regularly backs up in the area surrounding that area. Regularly 10, 15 minutes wait, particularly at Alta, Yellow Bluff, and New Berlin roads. So I would say that this is poorly thought out and not a good fit for the area. The area is also mostly larger lots, above a half acre in that area. There's a couple of subdivisions, but that's about it. So I would just suggest that the characteristic of having these townhomes in the area does not fit the makeup and the characteristic of the area. So I would be against this. And I'd strongly suggest a vote down. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next we have Francis. No. Is he? No. That was just a public speaker card. Whoops. Yeah, let's go to the applicant first. My mistake. 1 second, sir. You can have a seat right there in the reserved seats. Typically, we go to the applicant first, which was my mistake. So, Ms. Cindy Trimmer, if you would like to come up and set the stage for us with your application, that would be great.
Sure. Thank you so
Go
much.
ahead. 5 minutes is what the applicant gets. Thank you.
Cindy Trimmer, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200, on behalf of the applicant. This application had actually started a while back, and when we went to Planning Commission with the townhomes, there were 2 folks that showed up. They had some questions. They actually pulled us aside afterwards and expressed an interest in selling their property and having townhomes. So we didn't realize that there was all of the concern that we have now been made aware of. The applicant has asked that the pending application that would allow for townhomes be amended to an RLD 40 zoning district, which would only allow single-family detached structures. And if that is something that is amenable, that's something the owner is happy to do. If that still gives cause for consternation, they're happy to defer and continue to try to work with the councilman to see if we can land this plane somewhere that everybody can live with.
Okay. That's a critical piece of information. Yeah, Councilman Gaffney, you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. I guess to save us all some time, I'm pretty sure we got like 25 cards to speak about. But I think those cards are speaking in reference to townhomes. Now that the applicant have amended this application to, I guess, single family lots, I guess my question is for the community, and I guess to the councilman, is single family homes, I guess good enough now? I mean, because from my understanding, originally this application was for townhomes, and that's what the community came out here for. So I guess Councilman Gay, and I know you don't want to, I guess you can. It's your district.
Just 1 second, though. Yeah, if Mr. Reingold, if you can go ahead and set us in the right posture, because technically we're in the public hearing, so we got to be careful. But go ahead and set us on the right stage.
Certainly, at this point, I don't think it's in the proper posture for Councilmember Gay to put his opinion on the record before we close the public hearing. But I think it's a very important question through the chair to Councilmember Gaffney that you presented to the neighborhood, which is, now that you've heard the townhomes are off the table, where is your position now on single-family homes?
And I know we got like 25 members through the chair, and I know we got like 25 members from the community. One of the things Ms. Trimmer mentioned was deferring this. You know, maybe you guys having another community meeting before we potentially vote tonight. Am I in the right posture, Dylan, to ask Councilman Gay, can we defer this to like next week? That'll get the community one more time to meet to talk about single family homes.
Through the chair, I think you could ask him if he was supportive of a deferral or an open continue, but I think at this point it might just be helpful to hear if the audience has any assistance in kind of answering some of your questions.
Yeah, so real quick, let me just interject here. We're going to hear from the audience. We're not just going to defer it after one speaker. That's my opinion. But I would agree that, those of you who did come down here for 215, please include in your statements your opinions about the single-family homes, the RLD 40. Is that correct, Ms. Trimmer? So please speak to that, just because it hasn't been amended yet, but there will likely be an amendment for that. So that will help us make our decision properly. So with that, I think we've kind of addressed that. And Councilmember Gaffney, I think that's a great point. So with that, let's continue to go through the speaker cards. And I just got yours, Ms. Trimmer, so that's why I wasn't on top of the list there. Councilman White, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. To the chair, would you consider maybe letting Tony speak again, since everything's changed, so he'll have a bite at apple of...
Sure.
It changes his
let's go
opinion of something.
Yeah, we can start with...
Since now you know that it can be homes instead of the townhomes. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, sir, absolutely. School Board Member Ricardo.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to readdress, because that does change things. However, it doesn't change it much.
Name and address, start the clock.
I'm sorry?
I said your name and address and start the clock.
I'm sorry. Tony Ricardo, address on file.
Got
it. It doesn't change it much. Again, it's out of character for the area to have a 40-foot lot. Almost everything out there, except for a couple of subdivisions, are all at 60 and plus. So we're talking about larger acreage, larger yards, larger homes, and it's just out of character. Again, you'll still have the same problems with traffic, because you've got a lot of houses you're going to be jamming onto the property, and it's going to load up the roads. So all those arguments still stand. Been out there 65 years, and one of the reasons why most of the people move out to that area is for the nature, for the wilderness, for the outdoors, recreation, and all those activities that take place. And you don't have that if you start building over it all. So I would encourage you just to take a long look at it. I would be okay, I guess, just because the other areas in there are 60 and 65-foot lots at the minimum. And it would probably pass muster, but I'd ask you to consider that. Thank you.
All right. Now we will just go through the rest of the cards. And first up, we have Amanda Hanson. Are you here? There she is. Okay. Next will be Martin Cook, followed by Charles Stewart. Anyways, go ahead, Ms. Amanda. Name and address. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me express my concerns about the proposed rezoning of the property development on Sterrett, which now I understand will include single-family homes. I moved here 4 months ago from Houston, Texas, and carefully selected my house that is surrounded by trees and nature in a calm, quiet neighborhood where I feel safe and at home. The proposed rezoning to build more houses in the area that is incompatible with that kind of density is going to present a host of issues, and I was looking for support and guidance on how to adequately measure the effects that the population increase would cause. Property values and marketability would decrease with having more density in the area. How can we quantify this impact? Neighborhood roads and safety would decline, including emergency vehicle response times. Traffic, road, and congestion would get worse than it already is. What studies can be done in the proposed area to demonstrate how dangerous and congested they already are, and project how much worse it would get with the additional families that are going into all of these more densely populated areas? How much floodwater mitigation is needed to prevent more flooding in the new and existing properties? And have those studies been done? Where are the wildlife and like the deers and gopher tortoises going to go when those developments are put in? How much more damage would occur from the storm winds when all the trees in the area have been clear cut, which is removing the natural barrier of strong winds to the surrounding houses? How much would the increased noise of new construction impact the current residents, let alone the increase of noise and decrease of property privacy from all of the new families living in the area immediately adjacent to our homes? How can we quantify the change in character of our neighborhood and the loss of community cohesion from social tensions that causes a divide between the citizens by having these new developments put in where we do not feel they're compatible with our neighborhood? So before the area is rezoned and negatively impacting our community, how can we quantify the damage and look for a better solution that won't profoundly impact the health and welfare of our community? So thankfully, I'm very happy to hear that single-family homes are now on the table, and I'd like to spend some more time thinking about that, as that kind of caught me off guard into coming and giving the presentation I had prepared for tonight. But I appreciate your consideration on this and hope that adequate studies can be done, thoughtful studies, before a final decision on the zoning is made. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, and I'd like to welcome Councilmember Arias to the meeting. Next, we have Martin Cook. He couldn't wait to hand these over to you. Nice try, though. All right, okay, we have Mr. Martin Cook coming down. Next, if Mr. Charles Stewart will come down to the front row and wait your turn, and then Ms. Jillian Hodson, Derek Hudson, Leanna Hubner, if y'all will come down to the front row, that'd be great.
Sorry for the delay. Don't move as fast as I used to, and thank you for seeing us all. I'm a resident of a development on Sterrett Road, namely Amelia View.
Can you state your name and address?
The address is 14725 Nassau Sound Drive.
And your name? Your name?
Martin Cook.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I've lived in Amelia View for 12 years now. The main reason that I'm living there is that when we bought Ocean Way was a somewhat rural area with much tree cover, low traffic, and lovely homes. Since we're there, we're seeing much increase in traffic. We're seeing townhouses being put down more south of us on Town Center, and we are opposed to this development because it will increase density, remove tree cover, increase traffic on the roads, and there's no reason to have that high a density that far into what was a rural community. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Right.
Next, we have Mr. Charles Stewart. Is that the correct last name? Yep. Okay, come on down. Just name and address.
My name is Charles Schwant.
There you go.
2621 Aldersgate Road. I'm coming up here today about the high density and the lot width. It's very comforting to hear that they're going to change to single family homes, but we all know that those can go down to 40-foot wide lots. Even going down to a 60-foot wide lot is still unreasonable. I have 120 foot, and most of my neighbors are well over 100 foot. So cutting that in half and putting double the amount of houses in around other houses just is aesthetically unpleasing. Second thing is, Duval County does not take care of its roads for whatever reason. The traffic in that area is already atrocious. If you want to add more houses, best thing that we can do is once the roads are finished, then we can put in houses, not put in houses and hope the road get done. Right now, you can wait on some of the lights in there for 20 minutes. What's going to happen if we add another 300-400 cars in that area? It's crazy now. So if we can put in the infrastructure and then focus on expanding the neighborhood. St. Johns County just did this very same thing because of that reason. Maybe y'all should look a little bit at that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. And before we go to the next speaker, Mr. Reingold, if you will, just reread your statement because we got a lot of new cards, and I just want to make sure everyone has the statement and it's clarity for everybody. So thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the 2 points I made in my statement were, one, during the public hearing portion, you'll have 3 minutes, obviously, so presentations need to be focused and concise and should only address the item before us. If you are repetitive or if we get off topic, you will be warned, and then if after a warning you are still off topic or repetitive, you may be cut off. Additionally, all quasi-judicial decisions before us tonight, like this item, must be based on substantial competent evidence, which means the decision must be supported by fact-based testimony or expert testimony and not generalized concerns or opinions. To the chair, as an example, I did hear this speaker, for instance, talk about how he lives on a 120-foot lot and his neighbors are 100-foot lots. Those are the types of facts that are competent, substantial evidence for the record. And with that, I turn it back over to the chair.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Reingold. So next we'll go to the rest of the speaker cards, and we have Jillian Hodson.
Hello, my name's Jillian Hodson, and I live at 14503 Tranquility Creek Drive in Amelia View. And I appreciate you all hearing us today. I think probably one of the most important things, if you've never been into our neighborhood, is the size of the lots. All of the lots are 60 feet or larger in our neighborhood. It's a very substantially sized neighborhood with lots of houses. And I think that one of the biggest things that I noticed in the City of Jacksonville's 2045 comprehensive plan was in section 3.1.14, where it says the land development regulation shall include site design standards to ensure compatibility with adjacent uses and to protect neighborhood scale and character through transition zones, bulk massing, and height restrictions. And I think that if these townhomes were able to come here, then that is going to go completely against actually the city's 2045 plan. And I appreciate you all taking the time.
All right, thank you
Thanks.
so much. Next, we have Derek Hodson.
Good evening. My name is Derek Hodson. I live at 14503 Tranquility Creek Drive. First of all, thanks for your time tonight and for taking the time to listen to us. In addition to what my friends and neighbors have pointed out, I know that the under 60-foot lot line is a huge difference here. It makes a difference between squeezing houses together just to get more people in or having pieces of land that you can call a home. One thing I also would like to point out is that I know that the LUZ committee, policies. One of the things that they like to point out is that the proposed development is compatible with surrounding existing land uses and zoning. In this case, I believe that these townhomes are not. And so that's why I would ask that you take into consideration our opposed position on these. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir. And next, we will have Leanne Hubner. And then if the front row right here, Miss Rebecca, she'll kind of show you that next time, sorry, right here, is all reserved for the speakers, just so we can kind of work through this a little faster. Ed Tubbs, come on down and sit in your special reserved seat. And Eckert, Francis Eckert, Tom Mack, and Tom Ranson. Come on down and just have a seat in the front row for us. Thank you. Miss Leanne, name and address, please. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Leanne Hubner. I live at 2816 Egret Walk Terrace, Jacksonville. Amelia View subdivision. All of our lots are actually, I have to correct her, 100 feet or more. I lived on 3 acres before. I moved here 10 years ago. We tried really hard to pick something that was wide, nice like that. The whole community is beautiful. You do have to go in there if you haven't been there, like people have been saying. You need to just keep it to it. The smallest is 60 feet. It's just, there's too much traffic. There's too much craziness going on already. Also, you've got Max Leggett, like people are saying, and Airport Center over there. Airport Center in New Berlin. All those townhouses are being built, being built for well over a year now. Nobody's in them. Let's at least get people in those before we start building more things. The roads are not set up for it. The waterways, the poor animals. I just am totally opposed to it. So thank you for letting me talk.
All right, thank you. And next we have Ed Tubbs.
Hi, I'm Ed Tubbs, and I live in an area close to where the duplexes are proposed to be erected. And I just want to go on record saying I'm against it. And the reason is when we were looking for our house, we wanted a place where we had elbow room and where we could, feel comfortable in a rural area. And those areas are more and more hard to come by in Jacksonville as you get urban sprawl. And for me, my perspective, why would you want to lose those areas in Jacksonville? I mean, once you lose them and you chop it up and you put multiple housing units in, then that's gone. And we love our area. We got plenty of room. It's peaceful and it's quiet, and we're just going to lose all that. It's going to change the aesthetics of our neighborhood and the area around it. So I ask you to consider that part. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And before we go to the next speaker, we have Councilman Johnson in the queue. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to reiterate, I know you said it earlier, but I'm really looking for data so that we can understand. And through the chair, I really think it's important if you could help us by letting us know if, since the developer has come up and said that there will no longer be attached facilities, no duplexes, nothing of that sort, only single-family homes. If you could give us detail as to if that works for you. I've listened, I'm trying to take notes on the testimony, but that would help us to understand if that is a possibility. That way we can know as we move forward where you stand in this. Thanks for letting me say that, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, no problem. And the reason for that, folks, is just because when the public hearing is closed, after we get done with all these speaker cards, the public hearing is closed, and after then, it's deliberation time with us, and we can't necessarily call every single one of you up here and get that information from you, so that's why we want to hear it right now. So with that, we'll go back to the speaker cards. Ms. Ann Eckert.
Hi, I'm Ann Eckert, 3045 Sunset Landing Drive. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I am thrilled to hear that we're not going to be proceeding with townhomes, so thank you very much for that. I am concerned about the lot size. I live in Amelia View, been there for 13 years. We have nearly an acre lot, so and most of the homes in Amelia View are anywhere from a half acre to an acre lot. So we're used to that. That helps with the value of our homes. I am concerned about going to a 40-foot size lot. I think that's going to really compact the neighborhood and make it extremely dense. So if we could reevaluate the lot size, that's really the only sticking point I have.
All right.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Tom Mack. Oh, wait, sorry. Francis Eckert.
Francis Eckert, 3045 Sunset Landing Drive in Jacksonville. I was against the townhomes. I'm also against the 40-foot lot size. We live on an acre lot. Most of the area around where they propose to put these townhouses in have at least a minimum of 60-foot wide lots or more. So the 40-foot I'm against. If they were to change the 60-foot, I'd probably be for it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Tom Mack.
Yes, my name is Tom Mack. My address is 14625 Preserve Landing Drive East. The biggest problem that I have with this project is that the traffic infrastructure on Sterrett Road cannot support it. It's as bad as it is now. When I built the first subdivision near my home, I was told at a meeting of the city council and the developer that the intersection of Yellow Bluff and Sterrett was going to be adjusted and made better. It was never done. I do not think from the point of where these homes would start to be built and after the homes are finished, that the traffic will not be sufficient to handle this. And I think that needs to be done right at this point is to take care of the traffic infrastructure before anything else is considered. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Now we have Mr. Tom Ransom. And before you go, for the front row, you can go ahead and stand up there, sir. But for the front row, Mr. Robert McFeely, please come on down. Brenda Dye, Karen Curtin, Al Osario, and Ruth Nelson Peoples. If you will, please go ahead, come down to the front row. Ooh, short walk. There you go. All right, go ahead, sir. Name and address.
Hey, good evening. My name's Tom Ransom. I live on 2941 Sunset Landing Drive, part of the Amelia View neighborhood. We're in about a three-quarter acre lot. Now that this has changed a little bit, I applaud that, but I still have concerns, and the concerns become the size of the lots. 40 feet is very small. That's packed in. The density becomes tremendous. And when you have all that, the density that overflows now into the roads and the traffic, and you're talking safety of kids, safety of the kids out there who want to play out there in the streets and do their thing. Where are they going to go when they have these tiny lots and no parks for them to play at? No other infrastructure out there. So we have to think about stuff like that first. I guess that's probably all I need to put out here. But I would appreciate if you would think about this before you start adding to it. Becomes later on, you're going to say, oh, we've already added 60 or 70 40-foot lots. Here's another area. Let's put in another 60 or 70 40-foot lots. We don't want that. We don't need that. That's not why I moved up to the north side. It's rural up here. We love it this way. It's not like the rest of Jacksonville, but we'd like to keep it like that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Robert McFeely.
Hello, Robert McFeely, address on file. As much as I appreciate the builder conceding to 40-foot lots, that's still not enough. The area surrounding that is all residential rural. Most of the lots that are lots out there that aren't residential rural are 100-foot. The neighborhoods that are out there are a minimum of 60-foot, RLD 60. So by approving an RLD 40, we're drastically changing the community. And as we've heard from a lot of people already, and you're still going to hear from a lot more, this is not what the community wants. And I will cite some codes that I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with. They're from the future land use from the 2045 comprehensive plan. Objective 1, ensure that the type of rates and distribution of growth in the city result in compact and compatible land use pattern, an increasingly efficient urban service delivery system, and discourage proliferation of urban sprawl. This is the definition of urban sprawl, what they're trying to build. Prohibit scattered, unplanned urban sprawl development without provisions for facilities and services at levels adopted in the comprehensive plan in locations inconsistent with the overall concept of the future land use element and the development areas in the plan category descriptions of the operating provisions. And lastly, the land development regulations shall include site design standards to ensure compatibility with adjacent use to protect neighborhood scale and character through transition zones, bulk massing, and height restrictions. So how does building RLD 40 homes next to residential rural homes fit your definition for the 2045 comprehensive plan? I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. We have Brenda Dye next.
Hello. My name is Brenda Dye. And obviously, things have changed here this evening. A lot of us came here because we were really opposed to multi-unit housing. So I just want to let you know I'm a proud member of our community, that we're all here. Many of my neighbors here tonight have called this area home for decades, and we are united in our concerns about the proposed development plans. I stand before you not in opposition to growth, but in support of responsible growth. Growth that respects both the character of our neighborhoods and the quality of life of the families who already call this community home. Our neighborhoods were built with a cohesive design in mind. Single-family homes that share the same sense of identity, scale, and character. Introducing housing that does not align with this design undermines the integrity of the appearance of the surrounding neighborhoods and diminishes the qualities that made our community desirable to families in the first place. Beyond aesthetics, higher density development brings practical consequences that cannot be ignored. While I understand this meeting may not weigh those specific factors in the final decision, they are absolutely relevant to the bigger picture of why high density housing has no place in this neighborhood and must be acknowledged. Increased traffic on roads not designed for higher volumes, overcrowding in schools, and the added strain on infrastructure and public services are all very real challenges that will come to the cost of current residents, not the developer. Ultimately, these changes can reduce safety, convenience, and the overall quality of life to the families that already reside there. Property values are also at stake. Homeowners have invested not only their finances, but their futures in this community, trusting that the zoning and character of their neighborhoods would remain consistent. Altering that character with a project that does not blend cohesively risks diminishing that investment and will negatively affect property values. Let me be clear, I am not opposed to growth, but the key is placing such high density development in areas where it makes sense, near existing infrastructure, along major roadways, or within designated growth corridors where density can be supported without compromising established single-family neighborhoods. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to all of us tonight, and I hope that you appreciate that we all would like those lots to be bigger, and the families that move into those homes are going to really appreciate those larger sizes where you can't hear what your next door neighbor is saying or reach out your window and touch your neighbor's hand because your houses are so close to each other. Or you go, hey, who's going to mow this strip of grass in between our houses this week? Because that's all you have in between your homes. So please keep that in mind, and thank you very much.
All righty, next we have Karen Curtin. Go ahead, ma'am. Name and address.
My name is Karen Curtin. I live at 3053 Sunset Landing Drive, Jacksonville, Florida 32226. I'd like to start by saying that I applaud the applicant for recognizing that the community is not happy with townhouses, and that has been taken off of the table. However, the fact that the lots are going to be considered to be 40 instead of 60 does concern me. The City of Jacksonville, the comprehensive plan actually indicates that the land development regulation shall include site design standards to ensure compatibility with adjacent uses and to protect neighborhood scale. I live on an over 1 acre lot. My neighbors will all do also. But if these are 40, instead of at least 60, if not 80, you're also going to be cutting down on the green space of these homes so that the people who live in these homes will be forced to go somewhere else for their slides, their pools. And I think that the people moving into our neighborhood deserve to have what their neighbors I have. So again, I thank the applicant for recognizing it, and I think that people will see that the community behind me is also glad that the homes will be single homes, and that I'm sure that you will consider larger lots before this is approved. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. Next we have Al Osorio.
Hello, my name is Al Osorio. I live at 3035 Preserve Landing Drive. And I basically want to reiterate what everyone else has said, that primarily the development is not in keeping with the area at all. The area that I moved into almost 20 years ago, I moved there for the same reasons that everyone else did, that while it was in Jacksonville, it was in a more rural area, and I expected it to remain that way to some degree. We all know there's going to be development. It's dependent upon the type of development that's put in. The area where this development is they're looking at is virtually on a corner of Starrett and Yellow Bluff, which, if you're not familiar with it, although I saw that the road traffic in that area is only at 44%, I would not want to be in that area during the traffic period, where you can't even get through the intersection at times. If you're making a left turn, that may be the only car that gets through there. And they're talking about putting a development virtually in that corner. Basically, it's just not consistent with the land use out there. We've never had properties that small. And once that floodgate is opened, then it's going to continue to be developed that way, which I think will change the entire character of the area. And it's the area in which I moved into because of the character. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And next we have Ruth Nelson Peoples. Before you get started, though, Mr. James Pippin, come on down to the front row. Jason Reif, John Spurgeon, Jim Drost, and Pelisse Gabone. Sorry about that, but yep, something like that. All righty, go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Ruth Nelson Peoples. I live at 14724 Nassau Sound Drive. One thing I want to lead with is that I am not opposed to a well-planned, responsibly built, single-family home community in this area. I feel that a well-planned, responsibly built development may actually enhance the area. So I'm not opposed to building just something that is responsibly built and well-planned. I am opposed to single-family homes with minimal lot lines. That is not what our community is about. The beauty of the North End is that many of us were able to buy homes with reasonable-sized lots and build homes that we love. A community of homes on small 40-foot lots seeks to change the landscape and feel of the North End and create urban sprawl. My home is on a bit over 0.6 of an acre, so I feel I actually moved from Palm Beach County from a 65 to 100-foot lot to the North End to have that extra room up there, and that was what the area is zoned for, and that was what we kind of expected to stay up there, was some lots with a bit of room. Currently, there are only single-family homes in the area, and most of the homes are only one story. There is a mixed one-story and two-story properties, but most of them are one story. Rezoning a piece of property to such high density eliminates green spaces and quiet streets. It creates increased surface water and storm water runoff due to increased concreted space in an area where drainage is already poor. Tiny 40-foot wide homes are not compatible with other homes in the area. I repeat, they are not compatible. Most of us moved to the north area of town because we knew the surrounding properties were zoned for low density single-family homes. We knew that. That's why we moved there, and now they're seeking to change that. If this zoning is approved, it will alter the very fabric of our neighborhoods and our lives. I appreciate the fact that the developer withdrew the townhomes, but I'd like to ask them to go back to the drawing board and come up with something that we can live with. Thank you.
All right. James Pippin, you are next, but before we go, he's not here. This is for something else, but I know who that is. We had a lost wallet, so is Mr. Acosta-Rua here? Fernando Acosta-Rua? No, I didn't think so. We'll text him. I know who that is. He's not, he was here the other day. All right. Everyone out there still got your wallets? All right, good. Mr. Pippin, go ahead, sir.
Thank you for your time. James Pippin, 15227 Cape Drive North, Jacksonville, Florida, 32226. Pretty much, I have the same concerns as everyone else has spoke about, and I appreciate the applicant withdrawing the duplexes. My main concern is the infrastructure on the north side and in our area as it is now. To me, it's not up to the standards to currently meet the demand that we have now. We have new subdivisions already being built further down Sterrett and Boney Road that are just going to add more traffic to this area. I just don't see the existing infrastructure being in place. One comment that I did have, and I don't know if you're allowed to ask questions, but something that's kind of rubbed me the wrong way is did I understand correctly that it is the community behind me responsibility to go out and hire traffic control people and do all that?
You can answer if you want to, Mr. Reingold.
Through the chair to the speaker, it's not your responsibility to do that. It's one way you can provide evidence, but you have certainly, the community has provided evidence in other ways this evening, such as talking about the nature of your community, like 100-foot lots or how big the acreage of each lot is. So there are different ways to put in evidence into the record.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So I live in the Cape, which is also 1 acre lots, bigger size. So while I do appreciate duplexes being taken out of the equation, I'm with the rest of my community and wanting the bigger lots to match the existing community how it is now. Again, I don't know how to hammer it home enough about the traffic and the situation that's already going with the present community and the added community that's already in development. I just don't see a good solution to add more homes, more townhomes, whatever that's trying to be built up there. So until the infrastructure is in place, I agree with most of my community members that there's no reason for building because we just don't have the infrastructure in place. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight.
All righty, thank you, sir. Next, we have Jason Reif.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jason Reif. I reside at 14560 Yellow Bluff Road. First, I'd like to start off and get some clarification because I don't think I maybe didn't hear it, but with the applicant, I was wanting to get clarification whether they are going to withdraw the duplex or the multifamily and just do residential, or are both still on the table for your decision?
Theoretically, we do have to make an amendment and vote on it.
Okay, so it's going to be single family only. Okay, I just want to make sure that's on the record clear.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to dive a little bit into numbers. I agree with a lot of people, or what a lot of people have already said, but I did a lot of looking at numbers. So a comparison just in crime, we'll do crime and traffic safety. Crime from 2020, 2023, January, of course. There were 628 criminal activities registered. 2023 to 2025, 982. So I say that, and what's coming simply because a lot of development was made in that time frame in COVID, 2020, 2023. So that's why I use those numbers. The traffic-wise, so it's nearly a 35% increase the past 2.5 years compared to the 3 years prior. Accidents are up about 200%. Just between Main Street and Yellow Bluff on Duval Station, Sterrett Road, and that area, there was 2020, 2023, there was 127 traffic crashes. And in 2023 to 2025 current, it is 326. So if that gives you an indication, just that stretch of road, I'm not talking, well, there's a little bit of Yellow Bluff and right at Main Street at the intersection there of Duval Station, which is key to this location because it's entry point. So those are some things to consider for that. Also, for the record, I'm not opposed to single family homes. I do request that there are minimums of at least 60. Bigger the better, obviously, for the current community that is there. Infrastructure has to change. Like the roads are they've been the same way for almost 2 decades since I've lived there. With promises of change, and nothing's happened. With schooling is another big thing. We have 3 elementary schools that are overcrowded as it is. New Berlin was supposed to be upgraded almost 8 years ago. Sheffield, it should be condemned half the time if you look at it, and has been slated to be fixed for the past decade. It hasn't been done, and it just keeps getting kicked down the road. So I'm out of time. That's all I got. So thank you for your time, and have a good evening.
All righty. Thank you, sir. Next, we have John Spurgeon.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you. My name is John Spurgeon, 14524 Yellow Bluff Road. First, I'd like to thank everybody in my Ocean Way community for showing up today. We have a lot of support in our community, as you can tell. And that's just not the people that showed up today. My wife did an online petition, and we got 700-something people that signed the petition in our area. And I believe every one of you have gotten that email today. So if you haven't, take a look at it, because that's a lot of people in our area that are, supporting our side. And this area cannot support this kind of high density housing, which I appreciate the fact that it went to single family homes, but still 60-foot lots is more compatible for where we're at. The roads, the infrastructure, everything, the schools, everything, fix that first before we keep going like this. Because once you get started on this, you can't go back. So, and I appreciate y'all, for looking out for us. And I hope that that's what happens, that you try to fight for us. Because, we are taxpayers and we work hard. And we worked hard for what we have. I have 2 acres. And to have someone, all these little houses on 40-foot acres, it's going to be, devastating for our community. And I agree with everything everybody said, so there's no reason for me to keep talking over and over about everything that's been said. But I agree with everything that has been said. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you for your time.
All righty. Thank you, sir. And if Kim Halpern and Michael Bagan will go ahead and come down to the front row. Now we'll go to Jim Drost.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jim Drost. I live at 14532 Yellow Bluff Road. The reason we moved to Jacksonville North 5 years ago is because as we searched in the south of town, we just weren't happy with the growth of the neighborhoods, the size of the neighborhood, so we decided to move north in what we consider a preserve, wildlife preserve. We love it out there. We've got 500 apartment units going in, probably within a mile of our house, mile and a half. We haven't even talked about the infrastructure for the roads, the schools, the fire department, who's going to handle that, and where all the infrastructure is going to come. We continue to overload our roads. I live between Jason and John, who just spoke, on Yellow Bluff and Surratt, right at the intersection. And in the afternoons, there's a 40-minute to 50-minute crowd of cars going both ways up and down the street in front of our homes. Stop traffic for 40, 50 minutes. And it's the same way on all four corners of the intersection. At times, one car turning left will be able to get through that intersection while the other 50 cars behind them sit there. So it's a terrible intersection, and for us to add and continue to add and continue to add without growing the infrastructure is absolutely crazy. I'm also concerned about the school district and the fire department. There's a lot of homes going in, a lot of children, a lot of adults, a lot of traffic, and we want to welcome them into our community by all means, but there needs to be some level of responsibility when we welcome them into the community. I appreciate the fact that they've already rescinded the townhomes and are going for single-family homes, but they need to be on decent-sized lots. 40 feet isn't going to be enough. Those of us down on the corner have 2.5, 3 acres of land, and to put those up the street less than a mile from our house is just not consistent with the rest of the growth in the area. I want to just make sure that we do this responsibly. I'm here for our neighbors, our community, and I'm not going to take up any more time, but I appreciate you guys and ladies, and I know that you'll make the right decision for us and help save our preserve in the north. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have Pierce Scaboni.
Good evening, Council. Thanks for having me. My name is Pierce Scaboni, address 14747 Stair Creek Drive. I'm not here to reiterate what my fine neighbors said, but do want to make it clear the standard that applies to these proceedings. And in particular, as Mr. Feingold said correctly, the standard is substantial competent evidence, but there's a component missing to that. Whose burden is it to establish a right to the rezoning? And that burden is on Ms. Turner and the developer she represents. And specifically, the code section is the applicant bears the burden to prove with substantial competent evidence that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan. That's the Jacksonville 2045 comprehensive plan, that it furthers the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan and is not in conflict with the city's land use regulations. Now, I might be wrong, but so far, and based on my understanding of prior proceedings, no evidence pertaining to these points has yet been presented, meaning on its own, the council has to deny this petition for rezoning. But even if they were inclined to grant it, there are exceptions to this rule like any other, that even if Ms. Turner had made it shown, the council could still deny it if the council finds that the current zoning district, the rezoned district, or the current zoning district accomplishes a legitimate public purpose. And if the code goes on to define legitimate public purpose to, among other things, where the rezoning threatens to contribute or can create an urban sprawl pattern of development. You've heard plenty of testimony on that today, and you're going to hear more. Where it creates an isolated zoning district unrelated to adjacent and nearby districts. That's called spot zoning, a practice Florida courts universally condemn. Deviate from an established or developing logical and orderly development pattern. You've heard plenty of testimony on that, and you will hear more. And detracts from the character and quality of the general area by creating, among other things, excess traffic. And you've already heard plenty about excess traffic. I do want to point out that my neighbors' complaints about traffic are not completely unfounded. One of my neighbors actually commissioned a traffic study through this council on her own, and their conclusion was, and this is from this year, that the intersection this pertains to, this is the Starrett Yellow Bluff Road intersection, long northbound queues is observed during AM and PM peak periods. And also, within 10 years, the intersection, without some construction and repairs, the intersection operations are going to degrade to failing conditions, even without the proposed rezoning. Well, thank you for your time.
All righty, thank you, sir. Next, we have Kim Halpern.
Hi, my name is Kim Halpern. I live at 1058 Whirlaway Circle North. I'm in the Saddlewood community. I am a neighbor of those who stand here wanting larger lots. I do agree with the applicant pulling the thought of the townhouses or the duplexes. I think that's wonderful. I do support the larger 60-foot long, wider lots. I'm just here to support that, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All righty. Next, we have Michael Bagan.
Hi, all. I'm Michael Bagan, and I live at 14675 Sarah Creek Drive. And I just want to beat a dead horse, because let's be real. The intersection between Yellow Bluff and Stara is terrible. There's flooding constantly on it. Whenever there's a hurricane, there's a massive pothole. If you go down there, you all know what I'm talking about with the flooding. So we're going to put more cars in an already failing intersection. That doesn't make sense to me. Plus, to beat a dead horse, there's more crashes. It's in the morning. I drive to school because I'm a college student. I sometimes have to wait at a green light. I wait there 5 minutes, and then it turns red because I can't turn left in the morning. It's terrible. And that's just not even counting the fact that it's not congruent with the rest of the homes in the area. So thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, sir. And all the rest of the speaker cards do not wish to speak, but if you do wish to speak, please just stand up and say, I'd like to speak, and we will call you down. So we have Ken Halpern. He opposes. Riza Grant, oppose. Thomas Smith, oppose. Anita Gale, Whitmore Smith, oppose. Jessica Hayden, oppose. George Hubner, oppose. Sandra Jenkins, oppose. Marina, Marina Bueno, you oppose. Claire Greco, oppose. Catherine Del Rey, oppose. Michael Carton, oppose. Rebecca Chan, support. Denise Osario, oppose. Nicole Repovich, oppose. Shirley Spurgeon, oppose. And Gabrielle Pippin, oppose. And with that, we will give the applicant 3 minutes for rebuttal, and then we will go into discussion. Oh, did someone want to speak? Okay, come on down and just state your name and address.
Thank you. You called my name, and I was trying to get your attention. I'm Risa Grant, so you have my card. Risa Grant, 14951 Cape Forest Trail. And I was just looking for a little clarification because I entered the room a little bit late, so I missed maybe some of the readings. And if you're able to tell me, were we discussing 0215 at this?
Yes, ma'am.
For this last hour? Okay. And the applicant has withdrawn the decision to build townhomes and instead is willing to build single-family homes?
Yes, ma'am. Technically, it hasn't been withdrawn, but they have agreed to not build townhomes and go to RLD 40. Single-family homes, yep.
But that did not have anything to do, I'm looking for clarification, with 0590, which is nothing to do with that.
Correct.
That's coming up later, right?
I believe it's on second read. There's no public hearing on that.
No public hearing on it?
Not tonight, no, ma'am.
Okay, because I did hear a lot of discussion about that intersection tonight, so I just wanted to make sure that also wasn't withdrawn as a duplex plan.
Yeah.
There's still duplexes planned for that intersection, that
I'm not sure.
ordinance.
I'm not
Okay.
sure, but we'll save that for another night.
Gotcha. Thank you for your time. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
All right. Thank you so much. Did you already speak? I'm sorry. You can't speak again. All right, Ms. Trimmer, you have 3 minutes for rebuttal.
Thank you so much. Cindy Trimmer, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200 on behalf of the applicant. I don't need 3 minutes. So as I mentioned, we were only recently made aware of the concerns from the community. Nobody had reached out to our office directly. I had talked to my client. We had the authority to go to RLD 40. I have a long list of feedback from the community here tonight. So I'd like the opportunity to take that back to my client and see where we can land. But it sounds like it's most appropriate to defer for tonight.
All righty. I appreciate that. So we'll see what the committee thinks. I mean, let's go ahead and should we close the public hearing, Dylan? If we're going to, because I want to hear from the committee because we've heard a lot of information, and I don't want to just do an automatic deferral, but I want to kind of hear everyone's thoughts.
To the chair, I think the appropriate thing would be is you could close the public hearing, hear from your committee members. If you're sensing a desire to defer, or if you as the chair wish to defer, I would then say let's reopen the public hearing and continue it to a specific date.
Okay, great. Yes, because I want to hear from Councilmember Gay as well. So let's go ahead and close this public hearing, and we'll bring it back to committee for discussion. So council members, get in the queue just to kind of share your thoughts on what we've heard here tonight, and we will we'll kind of end with you, Councilmember Gay, if that's appropriate. So Councilmember Diamond, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think, excuse me, I just have a question for Ms. Trimmer just to clarify. The public hearing's closed, but it sounds like you said no to townhomes. Obviously, the neighbors are like, excellent. And then you're like, we're going to do 40s. And they're like, we'd rather 60s. I get a sense that if you land on 60s, we'll probably be somewhere that the neighbors will be sufficiently happy. You'll be closer to what's going on around there. Happen to know this neighborhood better than most neighborhoods in Jacksonville because of the Chick-fil-A. So I like a lot of these neighbors, kind of own one. So can you get 60s, do you think?
Through the chair. I lived through the Chick-fil-A hearings as well. I don't have authority for 60 standing here today. But like I said, I have a long list of feedback, foremost of which being if we can get to 60s, it sounds like we can land the ship. But that's something I have to take back to my client.
Thank you.
All right. I won't call you out on the land the ship comment, but Councilman Johnson, you're recognized.
Actually, my question, Mr. Chair, same thing. I think we're in the same place, Councilman Diamond. But I guess, Cindy, the question I had through the chair is, has there been any conversation with the developer about any other sizes? I know you have to take back a litany of the comments that you're hearing, but have there been conversations about other sizes besides the ones that have been offered?
Through the chair, as I'm trying to make as clear as possible, up until the councilman recently notified us about the feedback that had been on different social media forums that I'm not privy to and things like that. When we went to Planning Commission, there was nobody in opposition. So no, there hadn't been because we weren't aware of the community concerns. Now we are happy to continue the conversation.
All right, Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I'll tell you this much. The input that the amount of knowledge and information I have from this piece of legislation is literally only from the community. So the fact that, Ms. Trimmer, you said that you just heard from the community now, I've been hearing from them for weeks now. I unfortunately, and I'm scrubbing through my emails, but I don't have any information from you or the developer. I don't even know who the developer is. If I was to take action right now, I would not approve this, first of all. Secondly,
all right, guys, can't do that. You know the rules.
All right. Secondly, many reasons why, but it's very blatantly obvious. You know, the type of residential that we have here, surrounded by RLD 100s all over the place. The fact that you guys came back from towns to single family, awesome. But I think there's a little bit more that we need to put in there, some grease work to make sure that we accommodate and meet in the middle. The middle is not 40. The middle will be 60, in my opinion. Going from 100 to 60 is the middle. Obviously, we're gonna figure out what's gonna happen here today, if it's deferred or not. But if I had to take action today, I would not be on your side. So a deferral and coming back with your applicant, your developer, to see if we can meet in the middle at 60 would be ideal. So I just, that's the reason why, is because, like I said, I've heard from the community today, and there's been 40 speakers here today. So, you know, I know that you mean well, and I know that you work extremely hard to make sure that you meet the needs of the community. So I think that you could come back to the drawing board, hopefully in 2 weeks, with an answer that meets the needs of the community. So thank you for your time tonight.
All right, and I'll go ahead and weigh in, then I'll go over to Councilmember Gay. I kind of share the same sentiments that Councilmember Arias just said. You know, I mean, I think in my mind, there's not really that big of a difference between townhomes and RLD 40. It's still tiny little lots crammed in there. And just looking at on the map, RLD 6, the neighborhood right to the left of it, I think it's like Avery Landing or something, Avery Park. For a second, I thought those were RLD 40 because they looked small, and then you zoom in, and I did and those are RLD 60, and then you pull up the zoning map and everything. And so for me, I mean, I think RLD 40 isn't the number, and I'd like to see a little bit more of a compromise. And I know you're going to take that back to your developer and let him or her know where we stand on that. And then before we take any action tonight, whether it's a deferral or continuing the public hearing, we do want to hear from Councilmember Gay, and then we'll take action for what we're going to do in the future. So, Councilmember Gay, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate and totally agree with the comments that have been presented here from the committee. I think there's a place that we can land that would be agreeable to the community, you know, just hypothetically, maybe some 100-foot and some 80-foot lots. But we'll see where we land on. I mean, if you don't ask, you don't get, you know.
Yeah, don't push it. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Continue,
but
Mr.
no, I appreciate the awareness and looking at what's there in the community and really trying to do what the comp plan lays out to make it compatible. I guess one of the concerns I've had with this, and I asked, you know, at the Planning Commission, was the distance from where the planning department made the recommendations of where the townhomes are. It's somewhere somehow we need to get to a place where the traffic study is in line with the development justification, to where the traffic study stops at a certain point, but we still look at how way on down the road to say that this other complex is compatible. So alignment, I think, is something that we need to look at for the future, but I'm willing and grateful that the applicant and all has reconsidered, and we can regroup and get something that's agreeable for everybody on this. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Gay. And Ms. Trimmer, I did just have a few questions as well. I totally skimmed over these on my notepad. So originally, how many townhomes were being proposed?
Through the chair, it was conventional, so I didn't have a site plan, but 7 units an acre at 30 odd acres. It's 34 acres at 7 units an acre.
Well, this isn't the finance committee, so we'll just do the calculator. How many acres was it?
It's 34.13 acres.
That's 238, but nice try, Mr. White. All right, so 200 plus or minus. Okay, cool. So 200 plus or minus. And did you have a calculation on the RLD 40s?
I do. I have a rough calculation based on a test fit, so this is not engineered with retention and everything.
Right.
But that could yield up to 193 lots.
Yeah. Okay, 193. And then I guess you don't have the estimates for RLD 50 and RLD 60.
I do not.
Yeah. Those are going to be questions that I want to know the next time we see each other or next time we talk about this. So thank you for answering those questions. And for now, Mr. Reingold, hold on a second. So what we want to do as far as public hearing goes, I mean, I think we've kind of heard the public hearing. Do we want to limit the public hearing specifically to the lot size, or do we want to just do a straight deferral? What's the best posture to kind of move us forward in an efficient manner?
To the chair, I think the most efficient manner would be to open and continue the public hearing, but let the audience know we've heard you loud and clear on the RLD 40 concerns, on the townhome concerns. Let's focus, if you speak the next time, on issues like RLD 60 or whatever different proposal comes out at the next time we hear. My question through the chair to Ms. Trimmer is, does she believe we would be ready for the September 3rd meeting, or did she think she needs a little bit more time to the September 16th meeting?
I'll let you answer that, Ms. Trimmer.
Thank you so much. Through the chair, I understand that Councilman Gay has an upcoming Ocean Way community meeting that my partner is going to be attending. So I think September 3rd, if we can say that for right now. And then based on the outcome of that and what the clients have a chance to do with trying to do another test fit and seeing what works, if it's not ready, we can notify everyone.
Okay, cool. So we'll, I guess, do we need to reopen the public hearing, continue the public hearing until 9/3/2025, limit the discussion to the lot size? Everybody got it? All right, cool.
So I heard you open the public hearing and you continued it to 9/3.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you'll hear from Councilmember Gay. You'll hear from the applicant, and so just get your wheels turning about lot sizes and so on and so forth. And we will meet you back here on September 3rd. All righty. So, moving on now, I think Councilmember Gay's got two more for us. Thanks. Oh, you want to? Okay. All right. We'll go on because you want to go meet with your constituents. That's all good. Okay. Yeah. We'll go to number 42. Item number 40. Number 5. No. Item number. Yeah. You come to the agenda meeting. You can. No, all right. We're going to go to page 19, number 42. This is a. Whatever. We'll just go through it because I know we have a staff member here and we want to be cognizant of that. So item number 42, 2025-536, looking for a motion on the amendment. This is not quasi-judicial, guys. All right, we have a motion, second on the amendment. Can someone please explain the amendment?
Sure. To the committee. Yeah, so the amendment adds a procedural change to the bill, which would have that any adversely affected person receiving a written decision or written interpretation of the director may appeal that written interpretation or decision to the SSPAC by filing a notice of appeal as applicable with the Legislative Services Division. And I am here for any additional questions on the amendment.
All right. Who offered the amendment?
Actually, this was an amendment that came from the Public Works Department, a little bit different than normal. They are actually the ones responsible for doing these staff reports on these types of items under 654. And then that traveled through to the Planning Commission, who then adopted that as amendment to come to this board.
Okay, understood. And this is, one second. Is this just coming to LUZ or where else, is this going anywhere else? Just us, huh?
Yep, it's just to LUZ.
All right. Yep. We're gonna go through the queue, and then we have one speaker card, I guess. When do we? This is kind of different for me, so it's not like a public hearing. Do we go to the cards first, still, and then we go to the queue?
If we were to treat this like any normal item that comes to a committee, I know there's staff here to answer any questions or address their recommendation, and they're prepared to make that presentation to the chair and to the committee. Other cards, right. You are willing to take them as you so please.
Yep. Okay, cool. Yep. And we'll just hear from, we just have one card. So Mr. Mike Herzberg, if you want to come on down, speak your mind, and then we will go ahead and, is this on the amendment, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. That's where we are. So speak to the amendment, and then we'll bring it back to the committee, and we'll have our discussion. Name and address.
Mr. Chairman, Mike Herzberg, address is 1 Slayman Parkway, Jacksonville, Florida, 32216. I'm here tonight to oppose the amendment. Specifically, the original legislation was consistent with the appeal procedures for 656, or the zoning code, in which a director's decision is directly appealable to the council. I think that saves time. That's been in place for decades, and furthermore, I think that's appropriate. We, as the users of this system, look to the legislators, those that actually crafted and adopted that legislation, which are the rules and regulations, to have the ultimate authority. While commercial development or the creation of commercial parcels is not typically required to plat, we are held to provisions of the subdivision standards, and as such, the commercial industry has concerns. Our industry moves very quickly and relies on standards that are clear and concise. You've heard it before. Time is money, and time kills deals. Thus, the amendments to such interpretation to a policy advisory committee seems inappropriate to me. Consider for a moment the makeup of that committee. About half of that committee, at least according to the current web page for the city, about half of that committee are city employees under a director or other directors. Obviously, I have concerns about those people being objective in that regard. Furthermore, as council members, you're more than capable of hearing from an affected party, considering the facts in question, and rendering a decision based upon the testimony you hear from the various parties. You do that each and every day in this committee. You just did some of it tonight. The alternative is not acceptable, does not provide the needed consideration from the legislators, as I said earlier, who create these regulations that we're to abide by. The amendments would only lengthen the current process and cost the affected party additional time and money. I'm here to answer any questions, but I would ask that you vote down the amendment. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. We have no other speaker cards, and we are on the amendment. So committee members, get in the queue if you have any questions. Councilmember Diamond, you're on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I didn't speak with Mr. Hertzberg, but he hit the nail right on the head. So just so the committee understands, you've got a director who's going to interpret one of our laws or policies or guides, and then their employees are on the board that is going to govern whether or not that made any sense. So I don't know about you, but the last time I had a boss, I didn't spend a lot of time telling him or her that they were wrong. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And so what's going to happen, first of all, you're going to put a bunch of people in an awkward position. Secondly, the mayor hasn't appointed these other folks anyways, so that board is like half empty. And then you're just going to end up here, and at the end of the day anyways, it's going to come to LUZ. So to me, like, I get what they're trying to do, but it's not going to do any good. So personally, I would like to just appeal to us. There's not going to be that many of them. It's absolutely critical that folks who are trying to bring economic development to Jacksonville can get to their city council to if there's a reasonable appeal. So the system makes perfect sense to come directly to us, and I don't oppose the amendment. I don't support the amendment.
All right, Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to council, this is kind of like, this would be, in essence, like a de novo hearing, right? By it coming to the council, it would then be brand new. Am I right in this interpretation? Apologies. While he's looking, if I may, I see that the department, and is there anything that you all want to add as to why it's important from planning? Oh, Ms. Sickler? But I'm more on the policy of it, but if you want to tell me why it's important for it to go to this committee, because it does seem like there is some merit in what was just shared.
Good evening. Nina Stickler, Public Works. I'm sorry, could you repeat the question, or would you like me to go through the staff evaluation of? I
looked at the staff evaluation, but is there and I kind of read it, I saw it, but is there a reason why that you feel that your team, and I certainly am going to get the legal portion of it from Mr. Reingold, but is there a reason why, based on what Mr. Diamond just said, why we need to go through the extra step and then maybe kind of convolute the issue? Why is it, just from your interpretation, that we need to have this step instead of coming directly to the council?
And before you go, Ms. Sickler, Steve, let's go ahead and start the clock. And it's really just a matter of, we have a lot of other people here. We have a long agenda meeting, and we want to make sure that we're efficient with our time. So this counts as not your time. It counts as Councilmember Johnson's time. So go ahead, Steve. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Sickler.
So first of all, I'd like to say I completely agree with the intent of the legislation, which is to provide an appeals process for decisions relating to Chapter 654. Chapter 656 is the zoning code, which has an established procedure through Planning Commission and then to council. Chapter 656, which this legislation covers, does not have an appeals process. Right now, it lies solely with the director through our chiefs. So I believe that an appeals process is needed. In the case of this particular type of decision making, they're highly technical. So there are issues such as roadway design or spacing of driveways, lighting, traffic considerations. And so sending it to this SSPAC is actually a board of 13. Rules Committee made that change recently in 2025-410. And so it's 13 members, 4 of which are appointed by council president, 3 by the mayor, and 6 staff. So it's more appointed folks than staff. And so these folks include an engineer, home builder, land developer, transportation engineer, planner, underground utility representative, and others. So the folks who are helping to develop these policies would be the most knowledgeable to help make decisions on applying those policies when it comes to developer applications. So that was our recommendation, that going through this process would allow those experts in their field to develop a recommendation, and then and with the knowledge that they have, and then if necessary afterwards, an appeal could come to the council. That's staff's recommendation, and we think it's the right path. It's very much in line with Planning Commission's role, as well as the BCAB, the Building Code Adjustment Board, which hears building code exemptions and variations.
Thank you, Ms. Hickler. To the chair, Mr. Reingold, in 30 seconds, please, if possible.
Sure. The bill has that an appeal would be conducted as a de novo public hearing before the committee. I will correct just one thing from Ms. Sickler. A written opinion decision from the planning director gets appealed to the Planning Commission, and then from there, that is the final decision of the city of Jacksonville. Just want to make that clarification.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Johnson. All right, we have no one else in the queue on the amendment, but I'll just go ahead and weigh in briefly on the amendment. I'm not going to support the amendment. I tend to agree with Councilmember Diamond on, look, just coming to council, it's funny, we'll probably won't see any of these appeals, to be honest, because just of the nature that it can be appealed. But I think the few and far between where it does have to come to LUZ committee, it'll be few and far between, and we'll be able to make that decision. So I'm not going to be supporting the amendment. I kind of like the bill as it was originally written. So with that, I guess now we have no other speakers. So all in favor of the amendment signify by raising your hand. All right, all opposed, raise your hand. Oppose the amendment. Was that a hand raise, Mr. Gary? Okay. All right, the amendment fails. All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill. Any discussion? Seeing none, open the ballot, record your vote. What's up? Yes means you support the bill without the amendment. You good? Okay.
68, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-536. All right. Yes, sir. Councilman Johnson, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, and just, I guess for the record, and I'm sure I'm asking you, but I'm sure everybody will agree, anyway, when those hearings come to the council, those experts will still be here with us as our advisors to give us the information, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, so,
yep.
Okay. Thank you.
We will take those as they come to us. All right. I guess Mr. Gay is still out in the atrium, so we'll skip back to page 4, item number 5, 2025-242. Open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue. Oh, wait. We do have one. My apologies. Ms. Joyce Ann Glover, you do not wish to speak, but you oppose the land use. So we'll continue this public hearing until 9/3/25. Moving on to item number 6, 2025-243. Open the public hearing. One speaker card. Joycelyn Ann Glover, you oppose and you do not wish to speak. That public hearing will be continued until 9/3/2025. Item number 7, 2025-267. Open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue that public hearing until 9/3/25. Item number 8, 2025-268. Open the public hearing. No speaker cards. Continue that public hearing until 9/3/25. Was there public, was it, no? Okay. All right, number 9, 2025-448 is deferred. Item number 10, 2025-449, open the public hearing. No speaker cards to continue that public hearing until 9/3/25. Item number 11, 2025-450. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Get in the queue. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing, get a staff report.
Thank you. This is Planned Unit Development Rezoning Ordinance 2025-0450, seeking to rezone approximately 16.7 acres from industrial business park to a PUD. It's being sought to allow for the subdivision of an existing business park into individual parcels. The site is currently developed with 3 office buildings that the applicant is seeking to sell to individual owners. The need for the PUD arises to account for existing conditions on site after the subdivision has occurred. These conditions include making sure that the parking and landscaping are considered on a site-wide basis versus individual properties. All existing permitted uses in the IBP zoning district will be allowed within the proposed PUD. We've reviewed the request, find it's consistent with the comprehensive plan, with the existing land use category of business park. We find it meets the internal and external compatibility factors and furthers goals and objectives. So because of these reasons and those in the staff report, we are forwarding a recommendation of approval. The application was heard by Planning Commission on August 7th. There were no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and the Planning Commission voted unanimously for approval.
All right. Good job on the staff report. I like it. Concise. Now we will go to one speaker card, Ms. Cindy Trimmer.
I will also be concise. Cindy Trimmer, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200 on behalf of the applicant. This is the business park best known for having the Wounded Warrior building in it. Aaron did a wonderful job explaining why the PUD is being requested, so I'll stand by for questions.
All right. You want this in the public hearing, or are you ready to? Go ahead, Councilman Rivers, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Through the Chair, Ms. Trimmer, can you talk about this project? I don't know anything about this project, and I'm not sure why I wasn't reached out by you or anybody from your office, unless I'm incorrect.
Sure. This one's really straightforward, and I apologize if we weren't able to get on your calendar. I know it's budget season, and it's a little bit crazy. It is an existing business park. It was built with multiple different buildings and a unified owner. The current owner is looking to subdivide so that they can sell the individual business offices. And when you do that, it makes the parking and landscaping a little wonky. It doesn't comply with code because it was originally developed as one large site. So putting a PUD over the property addresses the fact that you can draw those lot lines between the buildings however makes the most sense, and address then how it still remains in compliance overall with parking and landscaping.
So who are the new tenants that are going to move there?
Through the chair, I don't have any details on plans for the buildings going forward, but they believe that there could be a market to subdivide the buildings so that they're owned by different individuals rather than being one big business park.
Okay, through the chair. So what is the purpose of this then? I mean, if there's no potential tenant, is the owner just wanting to do this because they're planning on subleasing or selling? What is the intent?
So that they can market the 3 buildings to 3 different owners.
Okay.
When you market it and somebody's doing diligence, your lender reaches out for a zoning confirmation letter, for example, and as it stands right now, they wouldn't be able to provide a zoning confirmation level because when you divide it, then you would make it legal non-conforming, so they wouldn't be able to go through that process. That's why they're seeking to do it now rather than waiting on the back end after a buyer would already go to closing, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
Come back to you if you want.
Yeah. Do you have other speakers on the queue right now?
No.
I'm just trying to process this because, I mean, I literally am finding out about this right now.
Right. And this is District 11?
It's my district.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I just want to make sure before I make a decision on this and give you guys a recommendation on how I feel. Let me process this in my mind right now.
If you want, chair, there's no change whatsoever. And that's the point, is to preserve the existing condition with no changes.
Okay. If you want to table it, you can go meet with Ms. Trimmer in the green room.
In the side, please.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and just skip over this for now. And Councilmember Arias, you can Yep, we still got 4 up here. You can go meet with Ms. Trimmer, and we'll go through the rest of these cards as we do. Okay. All right, that was number 11. So we will go on to item number 12, 2025. What's up? What? Oh, yeah, sure. Let's go back to Councilmember Gay's items. We were almost there anyways. But we'll go ahead and go to those while Councilman Arias is in his meeting. So item number 15 on page 9, 2025-454. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have had at this time. Seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is zoning exception ordinance number 2025-0454, which is seeking an exception to allow for the establishment or facility which includes the retail sales and service of all alcoholic beverages, which would include liquor, beer, and wine, for on-premises consumption with a restaurant. So the exception would be granted to Pepe's Hacienda for a 4 COP license, so again, a restaurant. The subject parcel is located along Merrill Road, which is a minor arterial roadway, and is developed with a multi-tenant shopping center, which was just recently constructed in 2024. The business will include both a restaurant and then a small grocery store, with the restaurant seeking to allow for that on-premises consumption of all alcohol. We find the use to be consistent with the comprehensive plan with the existing land use category of CGC, and we find that it is compatible with adjacent commercial uses. Merrill Road for this area is heavily commercialized with other restaurants that serve alcohol. There's other retail and fast food restaurants within the immediate area. So because of these reasons and those in the staff report, we are forwarding a recommendation of approval for the zoning exception, again, for the alcohol use with the restaurant.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And now we will go to our speaker cards. We have one speaker, Mr. Mike Herzberg.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mike Herzberg. My address is 12483 Aladdin Road, Jacksonville, Florida. I'll be very brief on this, sir. The staff did an excellent job in the review of this. There is a handout that's coming around. It basically shows the interior of this facility. It is half grocery, or I should say about 3/4 grocery and a quarter restaurant. So it's kind of a neat concept in that what's going on here, people can shop or they can eat. I like to eat first before I shop. That way I don't buy things that I shouldn't be buying. But effectively, that's what this exception is all about, is the consumption of food in conjunction with, consumption of alcoholic beverages in conjunction with food ordered from a menu. As staff stated, this is within the Buck and Buck Business Park. You will note on the first page of the handout that I provided, the site is marked with a red asterisk, and the areas behind that with the orange X's is a residential development that was also built within the Buck and Buck Business Park. That is private parking. They have select towing signs and things. Councilmember Gay was kind enough to hold a community meeting where we went through some of the parking issues. I think we also addressed some of the exception matters. There will be some conditions on the next matter, but other than that, I'll stand by for questions on this. Thank you.
All right. We have no other speaker cards, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill. Any questions? Nope, no discussion. All right, open the ballot, record your vote.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-454. Moving on to item number 3, 2025-455. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. All right, seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion administrative deviation ordinance 2025-0455, which is seeking to reduce the required parking from 65 spaces required to 33. Also to reduce some required terminal island trees and to reduce the vehicle use area to the nearest tree from 55 feet to 57 feet. When the site was first developed, parking was provided at a general commercial uses, which is 3 per 1,000 square foot ratio. Restaurants require more parking at a ratio of 1 space per 4 patron seats plus 1 space for every 2 employees. With the proposed tenant operating as a restaurant, the current parking is now deficient. The situation is similar with the development approach of many shopping centers, which are constructed based on a parking ratio intended to accommodate a broad spectrum of commercial retail uses. At the time of site development, specific tenants usually are not known. So as a result, developers often provide parking at a more conservative ratio. The site is located within walking distance of established residential neighborhoods. As seen to the north, there's a existing townhome development, so encouraging pedestrian access and it also reduces the reliability of vehicle trips. There are practical difficulties in meeting the requirements of code due to these existing physical constraints, including limited spaces for additional parking without significantly redeveloping or removing of existing infrastructure and landscaping on site. So because of these reasons and those in the staff report, we are forwarding a recommendation of approval.
All right, thank you for that. We have one speaker card, Mr. Mike Herzberg.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mike Herzberg again. Address is on record, obviously. Again, this is kind of a unique situation in that, as Chief Abney pointed out, the code requires more parking really than I think we're going to have occur on a regular basis, especially with relation to the walkable nature of the development as a whole and the conjunction of the uses such as the grocery and the restaurant in the same space. Additionally, there is a liquor store that operates out of this place. A liquor store had performed a traffic study, which actually was interesting enough depicted that in Jacksonville, the liquor stores typically will have 75% of the business, when a drive-through is available, go through the drive-through. So there is very little parking, at least according to the traffic studies locally, that it occurs with this. It typically utilizes the drive-through facility. So that user itself would have required 10 spaces. Obviously, the demand, according to the traffic study, doesn't seem to indicate that. Ultimately, the 65 spaces that would be required will not be provided on site, but there are 51 what we would call, or I would refer to as unconventional spaces. That is, those spaces do not meet certain standards of the city's zoning code, whether it be, as Chief Abney said, the landscaping components or specifically a maneuverability component. However, they do function. This is private property. Any incidences which occur would be the property owners and the tenants, not the city of Jacksonville's. With that, I'd ask you to consider the well-written staff report. And thank you again to the district councilman for working with us on this. There are some conditions that Mr. Reingold, I believe, will probably read into the record. He's more eloquent in relation to that, that we are imposing in conjunction with the community who was so kind to work with us. Thank you again, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. We have no other speaker cards, so we'll go ahead and close this public hearing and bring it back to committee. We got conditions to hear from Mr. Reingold.
Through the chair to the full committee. Yes, as Mr. Herzberg alluded to, the neighborhood had a committee meeting with Councilmember Gay. There were some conditions that everyone had agreed to, so if the committee would wish to do so, to move an amendment to adopt these conditions, that would be fabulous, and I'd be happy to read them into the record if that was the will.
Yeah, go ahead and read the conditions, and then we will ask the applicant if he agrees to them, and we'll see if we can get a motion.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Chair. First off, it would just be add in Exhibit 3, which is the map of the area, which will be incorporated into the conditions. I believe a copy of that is sitting in front of you. And then that relates to the 4 conditions as follows. The existing 51 parking spaces and striping of such spaces on the subject property shall be maintained. Employees are prohibited from parking in the area of on-street parking directly behind the subject property, the 8 spaces along Business Drive, as indicated in the number 8. And as indicated in Exhibit 3, employees shall utilize on-street parking on the subject property before utilizing any other spaces along Business Drive. Employees shall not utilize any on-street spaces after 10 p.m. And finally, that Pepe's Hacienda or any successor entity shall post and maintain a sign at the entranceway to the restaurant/store indicating that patrons should not park in the residential community and towing will be enforced. And with that, I turn it back over to the chair.
All right, Mr. Herzberg, do you agree to those conditions?
Yes, sir, we do. Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion for an amendment on those conditions? All right. We have a motion and a second on the amendment of the conditions that were just read and agreed to. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment carries. We have a motion and a second on the bill as amended. Seeing no discussion, open the ballot, record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-455.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you for joining us, Mr. Gay. We will see you next time. All right, we're going to go up to item number 14 on page 9, just to kind of clear out all the items on this page. So, item number 14, 2025-453. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. All right, seeing none, let's open the public hearing, get a staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is ordinance 2025-453, which seeks a waiver of road frontage to reduce the required frontage from 160 feet to 120 feet to permit the development of a second dwelling on the property. The subject property is a 3.4-acre lot located along Fay Road between Gwynn Road and Oyster Creek. There's currently one dwelling on the property built in 1970. It's zoned RR acre, which requires 100 feet of width and 80 feet of frontage per dwelling. The lot has sufficient acreage for 2 dwellings. However, due to the configuration of the lot being deep with the narrow road frontage, this application is required. Staff finds the request to be consistent with many of the existing lot sizes and the historic development pattern of the area, and a similar request was approved for 1961 and 1965 Fay Road under V8886. For these reasons and those listed in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval.
All right, thank you for that. We have one speaker card, Mr. Brian Johnson.
I'm the owner of 1991 Fay. I was just
Name?
coming saying Brian Johnson.
Okay.
And I was just coming to say, yeah, that's second house for me. That's all.
All right. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring back to committee. All right. Motion is second on the bill. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your votes.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-453. All right. Let's see. We left off on item number 11, 2025-450. That was the one Councilmember Arias went to talk with Ms. Trimmer in the green room. So if you want to declare your ex parte now, you certainly can.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'd like to declare ex parte. I met with the applicant, Ms. Trimmer, today at 6:45 p.m. to discuss the PUD, and I'm good on my end.
Where'd you get 819 from?
August 19th. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I was like, wow.
At 6:40.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool.
And it's being currently filed with Legislative Services.
Okay, good, because it's important. You need to do that. All right. So we never closed the public hearing, but we don't have any other cards. So we will officially close this public hearing and bring it back to committee. Motion to second on the bill. Any speakers in the queue? Seeing none. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-450. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to page 17. Sorry, I know we're jumping around a lot tonight, but it's what we're doing tonight. It is what it is. Page 17, item number 39, 2025-519. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none? Oh, nope. Okay, seeing none, we will open the public hearing and get a staff report.
This is zoning exception 2025-519, which seeks to permit the retail sale and service of all alcoholic beverages, including liquor, beer, and wine for on-premise consumption and outside sales and service, meeting Part 4. The subject site is the Harbor Place Shopping Plaza, located at the southwest corner of Atlantic Boulevard and Hodges Boulevard. The proposed business is Chip Shot, an indoor pickleball center and an in-house restaurant and bar. Chip Shot will be taking over the space previously operated by Bailey's Gym. The site plan shows proposed outside sales and service along the north side of the building, along the front of the unit. Other uses in the shopping center include an Ace Hardware, Publix grocery store, CVS Pharmacy, Tires Plus, and restaurants that also serve full alcohol. Staff finds the proposed use to be consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with the area, and forwards a recommendation of approval.
All right, thank you so much for that. We will go to the public hearing. We got the card from Ms. Cindy Trimmer. Big night tonight.
I'm trying to be boring, I swear. Cindy Trimmer, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200, on behalf of the applicant. This is the existing shopping center that has the Ace Hardware, Publix, Burger King on the frontage, Taco Bell right along the frontage. It is west of the Hodges intersection. They are looking to go in the end of the shopping center where the Bailey's gym was. If you're familiar with Fourscore locally in San Marco, very, very similar to that, except it will have indoor pickleball. It'll have some of those golf simulators, a couple basketball hoops, and they're looking to partner with Strings Brewery to have the restaurant use and the alcohol service on site. They do want to have some outdoor seating, so that's part of the application. And with that, I will stand by for questions.
All righty. Thank you so much for that. We'll close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. Second. Oh. What's up? Oh. All right. All right. Motion and second on the amendment. Can someone please explain the amendment?
Sure. This is 2025-519. The amendment just corrects a typo in the bill that changes rive to drive.
Whew. Saved us a lot there. All right. All in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment carries. All right. We have a motion and a second on the bill as amended. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your votes.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-519. Ms. Trimmer, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time. All right. Let's go back to, where are we, man? Okay. 8. Yep, wait. We did we do number 12? Page 8. Item number 12, that's where we are? All right, cool. You got the cards? Okay, cool. Item number 12, 2025-451. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is conventional rezoning ordinance 2025-0451, which is seeking to rezone approximately 1 acre from RR acre to RLD 90. The request is being sought in order to allow for the development of 2 single-family dwellings. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the comp plan with the existing land use category of low-density residential. Properties to the south sought a similar rezoning from RR acre to RLD 90. They also developed those properties into 2 single-family dwellings. The proposed rezoning would create lots similar in character with the established pattern of development where there's subdivisions that are zoned to allow for RLD 90 and PUDs for 60 and 70-foot wide lots. So we find the requested rezoning to RLD 90 to be compatible with the surrounding area. So therefore, we are forwarding a recommendation of approval. Application was heard by Planning Commission on August 7th. There were no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and they voted unanimously for approval.
All righty. We have 1 speaker card for questions only. The applicant, Randolph Island Jr. So with that, we have no speakers in the queue. Let's close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. Motion and second on the bill. Any discussion? Seeing none, open the ballot, record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-451. Item number 2, 2025-452. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion waiver of road frontage that's being sought for the eastern parcel that was just rezoned from RR acre to RLD 90. And they are asking to reduce the required road frontage from 72 feet to 25 feet in order to develop that property with the 1 single family dwelling. The subject property is a flag-shaped lot and will have a 25-foot wide road frontage along Hood Landing Road, which is a public right-of-way. The applicant will use that 20-foot wide frontage as a driveway to the back portion of the lot where it will expand out to meet all the requirements of RLD 90. There are a diverse number of lots of varying sizes and shapes in the surrounding area, so approval would not create a lot out of character. Again, a similar waiver was approved for the parcel to the south. That was 12373 Hood Landing Road. So because of these reasons and those in the staff report, we are forwarding a recommendation of approval for the companion waiver.
All righty. Thank you. And I don't see a card, but Mr. Randolph, did you fill out a card for this if you're here? Okay, great. So with that, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. Motion to second on the bill. Seeing no discussion, let's open the ballot, record your vote.
Five yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-452. Moving on, we've already taken up 14, 15, and 16. So item number 17, 2025-464. Open the public hearing, and we do have quite a few cards on this. And one second. All right, so we'll go ahead and go through these public hearing cards. And just so everyone knows, this public hearing is going to be continued until 10/21/2025, and we'll give Mr. Reingold the floor just to kind of cue us up on how that's going to work after tonight's meeting, correct?
Yep. So through the chair to the committee and to the audience, please be aware, as the chair said, this will be opened. It is a public hearing. The committee heard a lot of your comments last time, so recommend that you not be repetitive to those comments. And also, please be aware that, as the chair stated, this public hearing will be open and continued to October 21st. That means there will be no public hearings on this item for the LUZ meetings scheduled for September 3rd, September 16th, or October 7th. And with that, I turn it back over to the chair unless you would like me to have any additional information.
Nope, that was all. I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood there won't be any public hearings on those dates. Councilman Johnson, did you want to speak?
I did want to add into something because we've been hearing about this issue. There is also no vote tonight.
Correct.
There was just so it's understood, there were some rumors that we would be voting tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We will not be voting on this until October at the earliest.
Correct.
Thank you.
Got it. All right. So with that, we'll go to the speaker cards. And first up, we have past council president, Mr. Sam Newby. Come on down.
Through the chair, thank you so much. Once again, like I said last time, I'm opposed to this bill because the first thing is to make it an historical monument is going to really stop the sale of this building, which is going to create blight and it's going to be bad for the community. Joshua Christian, who's trying to buy this building, has been in the community for over 29 years and would be great for Joshua Christian to have this building. Also, we have to look at the kids' school choice. Because of this building closing, the nearest elementary school, and we're talking about elementary kids, is 6 miles away. But if Joshua Christian can buy the school, kids can have the parents can have a choice. Either go to Joshua Christian, who's right down the street, or go 6 miles away. So I'm definitely saying I'm opposed to it, and I hope that the council understands that if about this, they just couldn't sell. They couldn't sell this building. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Newby. Next, we have Mr. Reginald Blunt, School Board Member Blunt. Come on down, sir.
Good evening. I'm Reginald Blunt. My address is on file. I come to you as the Duval County School Board District 5 representative, and I am opposed to naming Annie R. Morgan, which is now closed, as a historical site. This could be problematic for the school district because it would make it very hard for us to sell the property. When it is a historical site, you have to go by lots of rules and regulations. Even selling the property would become unattractive. For the sake of the public and this committee, I just want to give you a quick history on this resolution that came through by Councilwoman Tyrona Clark Murray. It was first looked at, it was introduced on 6/24/25, and I think it's been seen by this committee at least 2 times, 7/22/25 being the second time. What disturbed me is that somehow the Duval County School Board was put down as the applicant. Okay, it has since been corrected as a mistake, but this could have been catastrophic for the school board because constituents were calling me when they saw it and said, "What are you guys doing? You haven't had a board meeting on this. You haven't had a public hearing. You haven't voted on it." And the only ones who brought it up and who knew about it was myself and the superintendent. Thankful we had a constituent in the audience, which happened to be former council president Sam Newby, who noticed the infraction or the mistake or typo, whatever it was, and he alerted officials, including our legislative affairs, Courtney Wesley, to make the correction. So I thank this committee and chairman and vice chair and Sam Newby for actually making those corrections, and Sam Newby for bringing it up. Even though this situation was a noble cause by the council person, it is definitely not something that this school, at least I as the representative, I don't speak for the school board, just my district, I am against this. I believe that education centers should remain education centers. I'm a strong advocate for public education, but if you have a neighborhood and an area where education can be continued, then I'm for anyone who wants to keep it an education center. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Blunt. And real quick, we want to go to, can't do that, sorry. All right, Councilmember Diamond, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, I guess this question through Dylan. Can we take this matter up? It was marked for action 2 weeks ago. It's been noticed over and over again. I don't think there's a lot of appetite, I'm guessing, to move this forward and say yes. I get the strong sense that this will fail tonight if we can just get this done. These people have come out twice. Can we just move this along?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can't do public displays, so thank you.
I suspect it's going to be a good night if we can, so no need to clap.
Through the chair to Councilmember Diamond, I agree it was initially marked for withdrawal, I believe was the item. I believe there was a request for a deferral from the council member who had filed the request. My understanding is that we had marked the agenda consistent with the request for the continuance. I don't know what notice issues then happened that people may have read that it was, it's just going to be continued. We're good to move on. I know staff wasn't prepared for a report tonight knowing that it was going to be deferred. Those are my comments on that question.
Through the chair, that was a very lawyerly way of not answering. The truth is we could move it and just deal with notice issues should they come up. Isn't that right? And that's with respect, just to be clear.
I understand through the chair to the council member. Again, the item was marked for withdrawal and was subsequently changed to open and continue. My only concern is you haven't really had a staff report on the item tonight. That's very typical with a quasi-judicial item, and staff was prepared for the continuance. Again, I don't know what other folks would have comment on knowing that the item was going to be deferred.
All right. Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized.
Sorry
to interrupt the public hearing, but I think we're trying to get to a point where we can figure out the best path forward here. So,
procedurally, yes. And I have to say, Mr. Chair, he said that was a very lawyerly answer. Councilman Diamond would know what that would sound like. But seriously, through the chair, the question is, I'm confused about how it went from being through a withdrawal, then not withdrawal, and then back and forth. What can you help me understand? Was it requested to be withdrawn? And maybe that's a legislative services question. I don't know. Can you answer that, Mr. Reingold? Was it scheduled to be withdrawn? Or was it just a mistake? If it's just a mistake, I get it.
Through the chair to Councilmember Johnson, it originally was marked for withdrawal. I can tell you the original request for the withdrawal came from staff and the general counsel's office in concern that it would be in conflict with Senate Bill 180. It's my understanding that Councilmember Clark Murray had made a request for it to be continued, and that request was honored. That's kind of where I know how we got to this point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Diamond, you're recognized.
Through the chair to Dylan. So then, if I move to withdraw, if we hear all of these folks, bring it back to committee, move to withdrawal, we don't need a staff report. If we're withdrawing, there's no need for a staff report. We're done. And if the councilwoman wants to bring it back after doing all of her research or to undo the withdrawal at council in a week from now, she can do that. Isn't that right?
I think I can't speak for staff on their position. I can just say I believe that they had made a recommendation that was based upon the concept of why they had recommended withdrawal. I believe they believed it met all it met the requirements for being landmarked, but that staff in conjunction with the General Counsel's office had just deemed that it was appropriate to withdraw it in light of Senate Bill 180. Again, I've tried my best to explain where we are and how we got here, and I defer at this point to the committee.
Look, I understand it's hard to represent 19 people. I understand that the councilwoman has asked you to do something. It's a quasi-judicial matter, so I'll be thoughtful while we still have a public meeting. But my recommendation is going to be to withdraw once we're done with the public hearing.
Understood. All right. So with that, we'll continue through the public hearing. And if any of these speakers on the cards that I call out do not wish to speak, for the sake of time, just let me know and we can skip right over you. We have another stack here of cards that don't wish to speak, but your opposition or support will be read into the record. So next we have Tony Ricardo, school board member Ricardo. That is you. Nope, you're good? Okay. He opposes the bill. Next we have Frederick Pinkney.
Frederick Pinkney, I live at 5323 Clapboard Cove Court, Jacksonville, Florida. I'm just opposed to making that a historical site. I understand the information that seem to be repetitive here, but my point is that the school should not be turned into an historical site, which you already know. We're in the process of trying to purchase that school from the Duval County School Board, and that would create a problem as far as the renovation is concerned. We have to have certain restrictions and what has already been said. But the most important thing is that we're going to keep coming back if this is what is going to be taken, let our voice be known about our position for that, regardless of how it may sound or how it may come out. But we believe that this is a very important issue, especially for the Woodstock area, because we're trying to preserve that and we're trying to have a community environment. The school is already closed and it has already created a void there. The school's been closed. There's a void in that community. And we are at Joshua Christian Academy. Our intention is to continue that educational process and continue that flow that's there. Because right now, if you pass by there, you can see that's a big void, but that's called school being closed. So with that being said, I've been told opposition to that being an historical site. And I do want to say we're just going to keep coming back until we can get it resolved, and that we believe that is favorable to that community. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have Doris Laprelle. State your name and address, please.
Doris Laprelle, and my address is 14233 Crystal Cove Court, Jacksonville, Florida. I'm speaking in support of N.E.R. Morgan being considered an historical landmark. I believe I'm part of the history of this school, and that's my qualifications for speaking. I am 78 years old, and as I look around, most of you are not 78 years old, and you've missed the history of this school and its significant importance. The prior meeting, I went to the historical part of this to designate it as a landmark, historical landmark. I was present at that meeting and I spoke. And I believe, if you check, we met most of the criteria, if not all of the criteria, for it to be designated as an historical landmark. Please check that. And, to my knowledge, that's what we were all left with. It. We had one more hurdle to go through, and this is the hurdle, land use. Now, as I said, I don't know if you can relate to the history of this school, but I can, because this is my proof. I was a second grade student there in 1954, and I came back 30 years later in 1985 to be the principal of the school. And I'm retired now. And I understand that the school board is in need of money. There's a considerable deficit. What I'm not getting and what's not logical to me is that if they have a buyer, which is right maybe next door, that is interested in purchasing this, that it being called a landmark would cause a problem for them. Yet I understand that there's also a problem when they say, well, if it's a landmark, it's going to be hard to sell. So here we got somebody maybe wanting to buy it and somebody saying being a landmark is going to be difficult for them to sell this property. But I want to remind you, as a principal, there are other principals that Duval County that went to this school and attended this school. I'm the only one that I know of that actually went there and came back. And I grew up in that neighborhood. The school is a hub of the community. It used to be in the 50s and 60s a very vibrant and blossoming community. I went back, and even in 1985, you could see that the community had kind of lost its identity and its focus. And yes, I would love to see kids in that school, but I don't think the condition of the school is such that it can house children. But there are other possibilities for this school. I had the privilege of being a principal at Atlantic Beach Elementary, also in Fishware, Atlantic Beach Elementary, a very vibrant community, a lot of vocal people, a lot of affluent people.
All right.
But I want you to remember.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, your time is up.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, we have Lisa Harris.
Lisa Harris, 11825 Waxberry Lane, Jacksonville, Florida. I'm here to say that I oppose Annie R. Morgan being designated as a historical landmark. As you've heard before, as the executive director of Joshua Christian Academy, our desire is to bring school choice or an expansion of school choice to that community. And in order to do that, we would love to have the opportunity to purchase the school. Historical landmark is not what that community needs. And an empty building brings more blight to that community. As a stakeholder in that community for 29 years, again, our goal is to continue education in that community. And because of that, again, I strongly oppose Annie R. Morgan becoming a historical landmark. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Terrence Johnson. Is that correct? Anybody? Nope. Okay, well, they oppose the name change. And next, we have Terrence Adams Sr. Come on down if you wish to speak. And then after that, Orlandria Wilder, and then Denise Jefferson. Go ahead, sir. Name and address, 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Terrence Andre Adams Sr., 504 Portobello Drive, Jacksonville, Florida, 32221. I oppose this property being a historical landmark. Thank you.
All right. Next is Orlandria Wilder. Did I say that right? Don't wish to speak? Okay. All right. She opposes the bill. Denise Jefferson, the last speaker. You're here and you do not wish to speak and you oppose the bill. Councilman Johnson, we got Rory Diamond, and then did you want to speak? Okay, let me just read through the cards, and then we'll bring it back to the committee, and we'll get everybody's questions answered and see where we want to go. So we have Dremeco Corbett, does not wish to speak, oppose. Lorraine Lee, oppose. Rachel Johnson, oppose. Jasmine Clements, oppose. Shirley Austin, oppose. Adrian Brown, oppose. Sabrina Farmer, oppose. Imani Clements, oppose. Alethea Moss, oppose. Keisha Corbett, oppose. Donovan Green, oppose. Lori Lee, oppose. Charmaine Green, oppose. Charles Taylor, oppose. Susan Anderson, oppose. April McRae, oppose. Charlene Wheatley, oppose. Zatasha Williams, oppose. Lori Johnson, oppose. Hazel Bing, oppose. Erica Jones, oppose. Dorothea Rutledge, oppose. Darren Barford, oppose. Spencer Rutledge III, opposed. Carolyn Gatton, opposed. Karen Britt, opposed. Orlander Wilcher, opposed. Vermel Bradley, opposed. All right. So with that, we have no other speaker cards, so we'll continue this public hearing until 10/21/25, and then we'll bring it back to committee real quick for any discussion. Councilmember Diamond, you're recognized.
Well, that's my question. Mr. Chair, are we going to consider the public hearing closed to take a motion, or are you continuing it? If you're going to close it, then I'm going to make a motion to withdraw.
Okay, well, I kind of want to hear from the committee. Just look, the situation is this. Councilmember Clark Murray wanted it to be deferred until 10. When was the deferral? 10/21. And I'm not sure if that was to get clarification on SB 180. Dylan, can you answer that question?
Through the chair to the committee, I can at least state my understanding was that the council member wanted to have discussions with the school and other community leaders, I think.
Okay, gotcha. I think we've heard the community, at least me. I mean, I'm not the district council person, so I don't want to step on her toes or anything. Personally, I think we'd be doing her a favor, but I mean, so Councilman Johnson, can you speak? I kind of want to hear everyone's thoughts up here before we just kind of charge through this and kind of go against the wishes of Councilmember Clark Murray. But I think the wishes of Councilmember Clark Murray were to, do her due diligence and meet with the community. My guess is the community is going to say everything that they've already said these past 2 evenings that they've spent with us. So I don't want to be disrespectful to Councilmember Clark Murray, but I want to hear all my committee members' thoughts as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will, if there's a motion made, I will speak on that. My question, the executive director and the pastor, I believe, who were in the audience, if you could come back to the podium for a brief moment. If you are under the impression, and this is just purely for information, if through the chair, if the school board is there an additional price that you understand that you would have to pay because my understanding is they want to make, or this particular piece of legislation is to make the building itself historic, but not to keep it empty. If that is the case, is there going to be an additional cost for you to buy the building? Is that what you understand? And you may not know the answer to that, and I don't think the school board's here either.
What it is that we believe that we need to renovate that building. Now, if this is a historical site, that's going to put limitations on what we can do. We already realized that building was built. I understood that building was built in 1922.
Years ago, yeah.
Consequently, we want to try to make that a beautiful building. And that would be something that the entire community could be proud of. It has a big frontage on Commonwealth, and we plan to beautify that. Once you put a historical distinction on that, that's going to limit what we have to do. And that's the biggest thing that we're talking about if that should happen. So we don't know all the ins and outs of that, but I do know that it would create limitations. And that is not what we want to do, because we want to be able to create a facility that the community would be proud of and renovate it up into present day standards and not just preserve the architecture of it. That is our concern.
Thank you, sir. Through the chair, I know Aramis is not here. He usually deals with our historical stuff, so maybe one of the planning team can tell me, is there a way, if that happens, and I'm not advocating one way or the other, I really just want information. And by the way, I've always wanted to say my mother's name from the day. It's my mother. Ida Ross Johnson was a speech pathologist and audiologist years ago at the Biltmore School, at that time, Annie R. Morgan, before she went to the district office. So, hey, Mom, in heaven. I want to know, though, specifically, if they do this, is there a way for us to stop them having to go through those standards that would keep them from bringing that building into code for today, i.e. fiber and technology and all of those things? If this building was declared that way, is that something that we would have to do? What are your thoughts on that?
Am I on? Okay, through the chair to Councilman Johnson. So it's not that it would stop the building from being modernized. If in order to make changes to a locally designated landmark, one thing, you have to file for a certificate of appropriateness. Sometimes, depending on the scope of work, that has to go to the Historic Preservation Commission. and the renovations made are evaluated against the Secretary of the Interior's standards. And so it can be onerous.
For lack of a better term, an undue burden on the applicant.
It could
Could pose an undue burden. Gotcha.
Could.
That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay, just kind of going down the dais here. We're kind of just free, free thoughts right now. Councilmember Gaffney.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. So I guess what are our options? I guess so. What we right now is debating whether we should withdraw the bill, vote down the bill tonight. Correct?
Right now, we're kind of just talking where everybody's thoughts are. Do we want to continue this discussion until 10/21/25 and let Councilmember Clark Murray talk to the constituents more, and perhaps there's a discussion to be had about SB 180, which is Senate Bill 180, that prohibits more burdensome zoning changes, yada yada. Anyways, that's where we're at. We're just trying to get everyone's thoughts before we posture in one way.
I guess where my frustration lies is that we answering questions for the council member over this district, and you use the word disrespect, I'm not sure we need to move forward tonight without her input. That does concern me. I guess, Dylan, can you explain what's SB 180, House Bill? Senate Bill.
Through the chair to Councilmember Gaffney. So Senate Bill 180 was a bill that was adopted by the legislature this last session. And in that bill, the legislature basically said that local governments could not adopt any more burdensome or restrictive comp plan amendments, zoning items, development procedural processes and the like without the consent of the property owner. So for instance, if you have a PUD that the developer agrees to, then you're okay. The issue then comes up is when you have a property like this where there's a property owner who is opposed to this more restrictive or more burdensome restriction being placed on them, that would be in violation of Senate Bill 180. And so that's where staff, although they had determined that it met the criteria and the JHBC determined it met the criteria, that staff in conjunction with the General Counsel's office felt like it was the better tack to just have the item withdrawn because of the opposition from the property owner.
All right, thank you. I guess my question, to Mr. Newby, I know you've been reaching out. Have you spoken with the council person over this district?
No, I haven't. I don't reached out to her several times, and you made a point about disrespect. I think it's disrespect that a city council member would do this without even talking to a school board member. So, but I have reached out to her several times, and she hadn't reached back out to me.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, Councilman Diamond, we've heard your thoughts. Councilmember Arias and Councilmember White, get your thoughts together. We want to hear from you.
Thank you, sir. Through the chair and to whoever could answer this, but I'm looking at this piece of legislation and I'm just curious, but who's requesting this? Like, who actually proposed this? Clearly, the neighborhood doesn't want it, the community doesn't want it, school board members don't want it. I mean, why are we even here?
Through the chair to Councilman Arias, the landmark designation was sponsored at the request of Councilmember Clark Murray. Okay. To be clear, like any council member can recommend that something be landmarked. Also, the same with any Historic Preservation Commission member, they can recommend something, and then typically. So the Historic Preservation Commission's job is just to evaluate against some criteria to see if it's, a historical asset that could be landmarked. And then what happens is there's 7 criteria. If the person is in favor of it being landmarked, the owner, and it meets 2 criteria, then it moves through, you guys see it, everybody is in agreement, and it's fine. In this case, the staff found that it met 4 of the criteria, and the JHPC found that it met 5. So typically, that is enough if council determined they wanted to go forward with a landmark, even though the owner was in opposition. So that's when it comes to you guys. But again, off of what Mr. Reingold said, Senate Bill 180 has just made everything different.
Well, thank you for that explanation on who proposed this legislation. And just like Ms. Clark-Mary did that, we could obviously do that on our own accord. The problem I have here is it's not about disrespect or anything like that, in my opinion. It's a matter of about the process and the time. This is not anything new. I've been receiving numerous emails and calls on this particular piece of legislation opposing it. So the time to have community conversations is over, in my opinion. They should have already happened. And if they haven't happened yet, then honestly, that's an issue that somebody else needs to take up with whoever else, and I'm not going to mention names. I'm ready to take action on this tonight, even though that council member's not here. They knew what we were going through. I'm pretty sure, just like me, they've received numerous emails in opposition. So I would like to take action on this tonight. I definitely will tell you right now, we've heard from the community. We've heard from representatives from the community. This is a no-go in my opinion, and I think the council member, I'm not speaking for her, but I think she would agree because based off the feedback from the community. So I'm not speaking for her, I'm speaking for myself, and I would like to take action on this today. And so if that's the case, I would like to make a motion to withdraw, unless Mr. White, are you on the queue? No. I would like to make a motion to withdraw this from continuation and doing it tonight.
I want to hear from Councilmember White, but we got a motion in a second. I did hear a second from Councilmember White, so now we're on the motion to withdraw. So that's what I want to hear your thoughts on.
Thank you, and to the chair and through the chair. I certainly respect the council person, but I also respect the owner of the building, which is the Duval County School Board, and I think, again, we're putting our thoughts in their process, which I don't think is right. So I am... We'll second your motion when it comes back.
All right. So we do have a motion and a second on the table. Mr. Reingold, do we need to close the public hearing? I mean, at this point, it just doesn't even matter.
I mean, it would probably be proper to close the public hearing.
All right, we'll close the public hearing, bring back to committee, and we already have the motion in the second. So anybody else on the, Councilman Johnson, you're recognized.
Let me explain what I'm looking at, because I certainly hear former Council President White, I hear everybody's comments. I am about the rule of law and the purpose of law. I am a fan. I've been to Joshua Christian before. I am such a fan of the great work they do and in the community. So, Mr. Pastor and Madam Executive Director, this is not directed to you at all, but I am about the process of law. While I do understand what was said by the former Council President about the owner of the building, I also understand the responsibility that I have as a member of this council. I'm not saying that I'm going to support it one way or the other because obviously it's a quasi-judicial matter. I want all of the information available. However, there is a process to do things, right, and in order. I think that we need to take our time and go through the process of either withdrawing it or moving forward. I will not be supporting this legislation to withdraw this bill tonight because out of an abundance of caution, if it were my district, and I'm not, again, to say anything against that community, but I also know that, well, it seems as though many of the members in the addresses I heard were not from District 9. And so while I do respect that, and while I do not know whether this will pass or not, what I do respect is the rule of law and the process of law. And I think if we follow the process, we will get the right outcomes if we simply trust it. So I will be voting no on the withdrawal of this legislation. Thank you.
All right. Any other speakers in the queue? You want to speak? No? All right. Well, I'll go ahead and just throw my 2 cents in because ultimately I see where this vote can basically lie, and that is it's going to be a close vote. So for me, I'm not going to support the actual bill itself. I think it was well intended by the councilwoman, and I think that the owner of the property does not want this, and I think a lot of community members do not want this. I'm very familiar with historic preservation just within my district, so I get the effects it can have on the resale value of a building. So that being said, that's That's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that I spoke with Councilmember Clark Murray's office, and her executive assistant came in and asked me to defer this tonight so that they would have more time. So I would feel like I did them a disservice if I supported that motion, even though I feel like it's going to go down with support. So for me, I will not be supporting the motion out of just giving my word to her office that I would defer it. So that's where I'm going to stand as it is right now. I think when we come back on 1021, the speakers, obviously, they know the process now, and just have one or two people come up. We know where you guys stand. We don't need to hear an hour and a half of it. We understand the community where you're at. So for what it's worth, if you want to speak, by all means, please do. But I think we're going to be expecting a pretty quick process when we come back, if we come back on 1021. So that's where I'm at. Councilmember White, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. Through the chair, thank you. If you give your word, that's something that's important to me. But can I ask the question, procedural, 1021, we're talking about 60 days. This is probably holding up them possibly doing something. Can we compromise and just defer it one cycle? So we make it a decision, whether it's a referral or whatever, next LUZ meeting, that's 2 weeks, not 60 days. And I think if that is a way to get there, that would be a compromise that gives her a bite at the apple again, her being the council person. And then they don't hold them up 60 days. It's just 2 more weeks.
Understood. I'm totally fine with that. I don't know why 1021 was picked, to be honest. But that's a little too much time to get a simple answer, in my opinion. Councilmember Diamond, you're recognized.
Just speaking on the procedure on this, if we withdraw now, then the councilwoman has next Tuesday, it'll be up for withdrawal, and then the whole council's there. If she comes out and says, listen, I've got my ducks in a row now, and I would like to re-refer for 2 weeks, I'll support that. I'm not trying to do that, but this is going to die. It's not going to happen, right? So let these people build their school and get kids into school. We're, in August. So that's the reason, procedurally, the door is open. Withdrawal doesn't kill anything. She can always bring it back in 2 months if she wanted to. So I just highly recommend we withdraw now. And then on Tuesday, if the councilwoman really comes back and says, I absolutely want to take this up, then I'll support it too for 2 weeks from now. That leaves the door open, but it doesn't make these folks keep coming back over and over again.
Understood. Councilmember White, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to add back to the chair. My only thought was I was trying to respect the chair if he had said something, and that's where I was. And I'm with the chair, if he said that, I'm going to support what the chair does right now, and then we'll see where it lands. So,
okay, Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Once again, I'm also a man of my word, so that's what you spoke to, or you got communication from her ECA on that part, then no problems on that. I'll support your decision on that. However, I know that your word was on 1021. Would you make an exception to that then, if that's the case?
Yeah, we can make an exception to that. I mean, and I think it was up for withdrawal tonight, and it should be deferred. So it was okay. Yeah, let's not put it up for withdrawal. Let's put it up for a deferral. So again, I think if she has the time, that's clearly acceptable. And I'm sure that there will be a communication to her office after this meeting tonight, and they'll get all their ducks in a row. But let's do that. Let's not have a council meeting on Tuesday with all these folks having to show up, and then they get re-referred, and then they get, what I mean? So that's where we're at. So who made the motion? Do we need to withdraw the motion, and then we'll just move on? Okay, so we got a motion, and do we need a second to withdraw the motion? I'm withdrawing the motion. Second. No, we're just going to withdraw the motion, and no motion on the table. Public hearing is continued now until 9/3/2025. All right, everybody clear? Did that make sense? What?
One other.
Okay, hold on. We got questions. Go ahead, clear us up, Mr. Reingold. Then we'll go over here.
One other technicality. So what I heard was that the chair, basically hearing the consensus of the board, just took the action to defer the item. So you're going to want to open the public hearing again and then continue the public hearing to September 3rd.
Correct. Yep. That's what I said. We're going to open the public hearing and continue until 9/3 of 2025. That's what we're doing. All right. 1 minute, Councilmember Johnson.
Real quick, is this the policy through the chair to the planning department? You were telling me that the council, someone from the council did the withdrawal. I'm confused. They did it without the council persons, because that's what I heard, that you just decided to put a withdrawal in. You can do that?
Through the chair to Councilmember Johnson. The position, we had 3 historic items several weeks ago. The position that staff and the general counsel's office took together was, in light of Senate Bill 180, our recommendation was a withdrawal of any historic items that were in opposition if there was landowner opposition.
I get that.
And so that's how we had recommended that the agenda be marked.
Recommended, but you literally put, and I don't mean you, Mr. Reingold, but somebody literally put on the agenda that it was to be withdrawn without discussing it with the council member. I have a major problem with that. So we can deal with it later, but it was a note that I wanted to get through this process, Mr. Chair. Thank you for deferring it so we can talk about it, but I wouldn't want anybody, any of the 19, to put in something and somebody just says that we're going to withdraw this. I have a major problem with that. We don't have to discuss it now, but we need to come to the bottom of why that can be put in. That doesn't make good nonsense.
Through the chair to Councilmember Johnson, I had actually spoken with the council member about the withdrawal issue.
And did the council member agree to withdraw? That was just a recommendation? Because the way I heard it, it sounded different from planning.
And through the chair to Councilmember Johnson, the response I got back from the council member at the last meeting was, I'd like the opportunity to have the item deferred so I can work on the issue.
So if that was the case, Mr. Reingold, through the chair, then why did it come on the agenda as withdrawn? That's where the issue lies. We don't have to discuss it further now, but we do need an answer to that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yep. And I totally understand, because, when the agenda came out, it said withdrawal. And then Brianna came into my office from Councilmember Clark Murray's office and said, this is on the agenda as a withdrawal. It should be deferred. There were emails back and forth to ask for the deferral. I approved it, and then we saw it as withdrawal. So look, let's just chalk it up to a miscommunication at this point. If you want to take it offline, Councilman Johnson, you certainly can. Let's move on here. Councilman Gaffney, 30 seconds.
Yeah, this will be brief. To the community, I guess, Pastor Pinckney, Sam, past President Newby, do the school have a contract with the school board to purchase it? I want to make sure we're not holding up you guys.
We don't have a contract, but we have made a bid, and it will kind of, stop the process, and it will kind of stop the process, because we do have a bid in, and to my point, I want to make also. I mean, the community has spoken.
Mr. Newby,
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I understand.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, Mr.
It's
Chairman.
okay.
But we do have a bid in, and it will stop the process. The 2 weeks will stop the process. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, you're okay. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's my only concern. So if we do stop the process, now they might not be able to purchase the building. From what I just heard, So if we do push this back to 10/21. From what he did share, it's a possibility that they might not be able to purchase the building.
Right. So, but real quick, and then we're moving on. We're not pushing it back to 10/21. We're pushing it back to 9/3, 2 weeks. They don't have a contract on there, so that in and of itself means that they're not even close to buying this, to buying it. So just these deals take a long time. Commercial properties, it takes a long time. So we're sorry that this threw the wrench in there. We get it. 9/3, we'll see everybody there, and we're moving on. So thank you all for coming. We'll see you next time. Number 18, 2025, 483 is deferred. Number 19, 484 is deferred. 485 is deferred. 486 is deferred. 487 is deferred. 488, 489, 490 is all deferred. 491, 92, 93 deferred. 94, 95, 96 deferred. Guys, I hope you're hearing this. We are deferring a lot of stuff for 9/3. Okay? Yeah, a lot of stuff on 9/3. Yep, they're coming back next week too. All right, number 32. Is that where we left off? Yeah, 2025, 497. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, open the public hearing, get staff report. Number 32, 497.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-497 is an application for a change to the Flagler Center Development of Regional Impact. The Flagler Center DRI is approximately 939 acres and is located in the southwest quadrant of Old St. Augustine Road and Phillips Highway. The primary change proposed is for an increase in the maximum allowable multifamily residential dwelling units. This would be an increase in the maximum allowable from 3,200 dwelling units to 3,950 dwelling units. Additional details are outlined in the staff report. Based on the details that are outlined in the staff report, the department recommends approval of the application for a change to the Flagler Center DRI, dated May 23rd, 2025, and revised on July 2nd, 2025. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. With one speaker card, Mr. Paul Harden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Harden, 1431 River Place Boulevard. Councilman, through the chair to Councilman Harris, did you hear the numbers of the units?
3,950.
Yeah, I told him I'd call him with that tomorrow, but you beat me to it, Susan. This is one of the very few DRIs we have left in Jacksonville. We're extending the time to allow some development in the area. Most of the development is scheduled to be office, but this changes under the DRI itself, swapping out office for residential units. There's infrastructure's been paid for, and with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, we don't have any speakers in the queue, so we'll bring it back to. Not in the public hearing. No, I'm on the bill. Good. All right, close the public hearing, bring it back to committee. All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill, and we have no speakers in the queue, but I just, Mr. Harden, did you speak to the district council person?
I'm ashamed that I did not.
Okay, I think this is District 11.
Can you yell at Mr. Spofford? It's his bill. I'm covering for him tonight.
Oh, so the applicant's not here. Okay. Mr. Ayers, you're recognized. If you'd like to take Mr. Harden in the green room and speak to him about this bill.
Thank you, Chair.
Quite a large
Chair.
DRI.
It is actually going from.
He's already taken me to the green room.
How was it? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, it was great. Right. We had donuts.
Ex parte, yeah.
On that note, yes, sir. Through the chair. You're right. On that note, I'll definitely like to declare ex parte on 8/19, which is today at 7:33 p.m. I met with Mr. Paul Harden discussing this matter, and is being filed currently as we speak with Legislative Services, and that's all I have for now.
All right, busy man in the green room today.
People keep on forgetting to call me. I don't know what's going on.
It's okay.
I don't know how I feel about this right now.
Okay, all right.
Should we come back in a couple weeks or?
We have a motion and a second, I think, on the bill. Did we get a motion in a second? I heard a motion in a second. We did close the public hearing. So move, second, open the ballot, record your votes.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-497. Mr. Harden, please tell Mr. Spofford next time to send in a letter.
All right, do that.
All right.
Anything else you want me to do? You want me to take him outside and kick his ass a little bit?
Yeah, no, send him to the green room.
Okay.
All right.
Can I mention one thing for the record?
Go ahead.
I said that we have very few DRIs left because the state has outlawed them. Basically, they're no longer a viable use under the state law. But Councilman White, about 3 years ago, introduced a bill amending the MU category of our comp plan to have basically a local DRI. So all these things that are covered in the old DRIs, which are cumbersome, are now dealt with much more efficiently in our process that's in our comp plan. So
nice.
Thank you, Randy.
What a savvy move, Councilmember White. I'm sure Paul Harden had nothing to do with that. Okay, go ahead. Councilmember Ayers, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you through the chair to the department. So we're obviously extending the time frame for an additional 10 years. How many times can we go through an extension? Is this just a one-time extension, or can we come back in 10 years if we need to, for whatever case?
Through the chair to Councilman Arias, I am going to send that to Director Parola. She is the DRI expert for decades and decades and decades.
There's no limits. You can save her the trip up here.
There's no limit, sir.
But I will tell you that after 10 years, you have different methods of transportation, so you probably should revisit it during those times anyway. But
All right, cool. We'll take that. You
First. All right, well, thank you.
Okay,
Good to know.
that's it.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Moving on to the rest of our deferrals that we have. And item number 33, 2025-498 is deferred. 499, 515, 516, 517 are all deferred with the public hearing next cycle. Item number 38, 2025-518. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, open the public hearing, get staff report.
Thank you. This is zoning exception 2025-518, which seeks to permit the retail sale and service of beer and wine for on-premise consumption. The subject site is a 0.2 acre parcel located at the southwest intersection of North Main Street and West 8th Street. It's located within the boundaries of the Springfield Historic District and Springfield zoning overlay. This portion of Main Street is a commercial corridor with a variety of uses, including restaurants, retail, and churches. The proposed business is Smokers Abbey Jack's, which will be a cigar bar and lounge. Similar establishments in the area include Stumpy's Hatchet House, Juice Wine Bar, Crispy Springfield Gallery. Previous uses in the area included Hyperion Brewing Company and Main and Six Brewing Company. There's a companion waiver of liquor distance, WLD 2506, that was heard by the Planning Commission on July 17th and was approved with one condition. Staff finds the proposed use compatible with the surrounding area and forwards a recommendation of approval with the one condition listed in the staff report.
All right, thank you for that. We have one speaker, the applicant, Loyal Thurman. Supportive, questions only. Is that you? Raise your hand. All right. No speakers in the queue. Close public hearing. Bring back to committee. All right, motion and second on the amendment. Mr. Reingold, will you explain the amendment and the condition?
Absolutely. So the amendment would just add one condition to the exception that it'll be granted subject, and it won't be effective unless or until the required waiver of minimum liquor distance pursuant to section 656.133 ordinance code is issued for the subject property. With that, I turn it back over to the chair.
All in favor of the amendment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amendment carries.
Will the bill is amended with the conditions?
All right. Motion and second on the bill as amended with the conditions. No speakers, no discussion. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-518. Thank you for waiting, sir. We appreciate it. All right. 2025-519 has been taken up. Item number 40, 2025-520. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Met with the applicant on 8/9 to discuss the matter at hand, and it's already currently filed with Legislative Services. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. And no other ex parte, so we'll open the public hearing and get staff report.
This is zoning exception 2025-520, which seeks to permit the retail sale and service of beer and wine for on-premise consumption. The subject site is located at the intersection of Edgewood Avenue South and Mayflower Street in the Murray Hill neighborhood. The proposed business is Beer 30, which has an existing location on San Marco Boulevard in the San Marco neighborhood. The previous use for this unit was Town Beer Co., which received a zoning exception and waiver of liquor distance in 2017 under E 1709 and WLD 1704. The property is part of a historic shopping center along Edgewood Avenue. Other current uses in the area include Flamingo Coffee Bar, Moon River Pizza, Perfect Rack Billiards, and Buckner's Beer Hall. There's a companion waiver of liquor distance, WLD 2507, between the subject property and Edgewood Avenue Church. The waiver was approved by Planning Commission on August 7th. Staff finds the proposed use compatible with the surrounding area and forwards a recommendation of approval with the one condition listed in the staff report.
All right, thank you so much. We'll go to the speaker card, Mr. Michael Luthold, a.k.a. Riley Luthold. Questions only? Any speakers? Seeing none, close the public hearing, bring it back to committee. Motion and a second on the amendment. Can someone please explain the amendment?
Absolutely. Through the chair and to the committee, like the last one, the exception will be granted. Herein shall not be effective unless or until the required waiver of minimum liquor distance pursuant to section 656.133 ordinance code is issued for the subject property. With that, I turn it back over to the chair.
All in favor of the amendment, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The amendment carries.
Move the bill as amended with the conditions.
Motion and second on the bill as amended with conditions. No discussion. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-520. Mr. Luthold, thank you for coming down. Go have a nice cold one for all of us. All right. 2025-521 is the next item up. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, open public hearing, get staff report.
This is ordinance 2025-521, which seeks a waiver of road frontage to reduce the required frontage from 80 feet to 41 feet to permit the development of a single-family dwelling in the RR Acre zoning district. The subject property is a 1-acre lot located along Joda Lane East. The property was originally part of a larger parcel, including 12555 Joda Lane East, but was subdivided earlier this year. The subject property meets all the criteria of the RR Acre zoning district, except for the road frontage. While the property does not meet the 80 feet required, the property is a flag-shaped lot and does have 41 feet of frontage along Joda Lane East. Staff notes that similar requests to reduce lot requirements such as road frontage and lot area have been approved along Joda Lane East. V9918 was approved to reduce road frontage from 80 feet to 0, and both V8556 and V9051 were approved to reduce lot area to add a second dwelling. Staff also noted that there are 2 other flag-shaped lots along Joda Lane East, including 12524 and 12622 Joda Lane East. Staff finds the request consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with the surrounding area, and therefore forwards a recommendation of approval.
All right, thank you so much. Now we will go to our speakers. We'll go to the applicant first, Ms. Regina Wellington. You questions only. I see. No, you don't want to do it. I get it. Questions only. We appreciate that. Brenda Ferrier, you're here. You don't want to talk either, and you support it. Questions only. Wonderful. With that, we close the public hearing and bring it back to committee.
All right, let's.
Nope. Just the bill. All right. Motion and a second by Councilmember Johnson. With that, no one in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-521. Thank you, ladies, for coming. Sorry for the long wait, but it was fun. You got it, didn't it? All right. Item number 42, we already took up. Item number 43, 2025-540. Motion and a second on the bill. Okay, yep, this is just a little cleanup bill, it looks like. No one in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote. Oh, yep, there we go.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
2025-540 is passed. Moving on, I think we are all done. So, second reading. Oh, man. So all these on second reading also means these are coming up, correct, in 9-3? 9-16, okay. Well, that's good too. All right, second reading, 2025-578, 579, 580, 581, 582, 583, 584, 585, 586, 587, 588, 589, 590, 591, 92, 93, 94, 95, and 596 are all second reading. With that, let's go to announcements. Kidding, no announcements. This meeting is adjourned.